Hashem, Yahushua, Bashim Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone.
Double honors.
And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I'm sure brothers has heard this, ICBK, which just to set the record straight, man. We are not in agreement with a lot of these camps out there that call themselves Israelites. Just because they call themselves Israelites and they speak certain things which are similar, that doesn't mean that we're the same. Okay, we don't agree with ICPK, we don't agree with IUIC and most of these other camps, because a lot of them are just got level and they're going off. Now ICPK, they're always going on. They're always speaking in pride. All right, this doctrine is not about you, your personal opinion. You got to be careful. You got to be you got to take care when you're teaching this word, that you don't inject your own pride into the teaching. And that's what you see with IUIC. So they come out a lot of times and make crazy statements. These are just because they're puffed up. They feel they can do that. Not being filled with the spirit, but speaking of their own. So this guy, we've heard guys basically say they would counsel man to commit adultery and all kind of other foolishness that you see them pushing. Now the latest one is they're saying that Moses left the truth, which is foolishness.
The same way they say that John the Baptist fell that truth as well.
Was that ISBK or was that
I'm sure that was them. ISBK, John the Baptist fell that truth.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about great men. We're talking about prophets and great men in the scriptures. That why would you even want to denigrate or degrade these men? Why would that even be a subject of conversation in the first place? Knowing who Moses is in the scriptures and how the Lord is dealing with Moses. Did the Lord punish Moses for certain things? Yeah, but that's between Moses and the Lord. Like that's not a cause for you to turn around and trying to uplift yourself. Because basically you're saying he left the truth, but I'm here.
This is why it's kind of confusing, right? Because General Yohana used to go about and speaking, saying that he's like the second under the second under Yahweh Shai or something, right?
Yeah.
Which will put him in the position of King David, right? But Moses is King David. And there's all these things, these weird doctrines that they come up with. It's just confusing, man. And I think like they really don't know what's going on, man.
They lack humility. Let me get that scripture. Yeah. These men get titles and positions. Let me get that. The greater thou art. The man get titles and positions, and now they're puffed up. Yeah. And now they're moving according to their own pride. And that's what it is. Because there's people that listen to you. Like now, let's get let me read this. This is Sirach 1 and 18. It says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. Right? A lot of men don't understand what humility is. You have to be humble because it's very easy to be puffed up. When you get put in a position of authority and power over men or whatever, it's easy to forget that you're really supposed to be a servant. It's easy to be puffed up, and it's almost like you got a God complex. Now it's like you decide what is and what isn't.
Mm-hmm.
When really that's not what this thing is all about. We're messengers and mouthpieces for the will and the spirit of the Lord, not our own lusts and our own desires. We're not supposed to just come out here and say anything. Oh, I'm a man of the Lord, so I could just say what I feel like. No, you're supposed to speak with fear, knowing that you're supposed to go by the word.
So it says Titus chapter 2 verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. Meaning you speak according to the scriptures, not of your own mind. We don't say just what we feel like saying. We say things that are according to the scriptures, and that's this type of conversation that we have. Even though we might not directly quote the scriptures, the things that we do and how we live goes according to the scriptures. That's how we're supposed to be operating.
Yeah, and the more you stick to the scriptures, the better off you are. There was no need to talk about how Moses fell out the truth. What do you talk? There was no need for that. There's no need. You teach what the scriptures say. Like we do know that Moses made a minor transgression and the Lord judged him that he saw the promised land, but he didn't get to go into it. Right? We just teach that. Why did you have to then translate that into, oh, he fell out the truth? How did he lose faith? Did he fall away from the worship of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? No, he never. Just because he made a transgression doesn't mean he was unfaithful. Moses absolutely was a man of greater faith than any of us. What are you talking about? But your own pride, now you just speak, you're blowharding. You have a mic to speak, so now you're just gonna speak. And it doesn't matter what comes out your mouth.
So what I don't understand is that how does this translate now to King David, right? Because obviously King David the king, a man of the Most High's heart, right? Who is in the truth, right? But even he transgressed. So what does this all even mean?
But then they say if you make a mistake, right, that you've fallen out the truth.
That's not what it is. Yeah, that's not how it works, man. Just because you made a mistake or whatever, doesn't mean you found out the truth. Or you had a moment of doubt, or that doesn't. The elect have been sealed from the beginning. The elect are in the truth from the beginning. That doesn't change. It doesn't vary. You know, it is what it is. They don't fall out the truth.
Yes, like one thing I wanted to say was so spiritual because I was just looking up for a reminder into my mind how Moses is so special. He was a part of the transfiguration with Isaiah. That's a mega cut. Mega cut.
He's been used as an example as a great man.
Spiritual man wouldn't feel the need to say what they said. Yeah. So the way you're making it sound, that you're putting Moses in the same bracket with the unbelievers, man that look back, man that you know, that's anyway. I got this scripture here. This is the book of Sirach, right? Now this was written after Moses, so this is written. This is recorded. My brother. Alright, so this is the book of Sirach. This is the book of Sirach 44, right? Now you go in, this is like a record of our history. So when it speaks about Moses, I don't want to read the whole thing. It goes into Abraham, and it's mentioning all our righteous fathers. It mentions Enoch. Remember, it's like it doesn't mention all the wicked kings or nothing like that. It's going into the history, but all the righteous, what's the word that you can call it? The succession of righteous men, right? So I'm gonna read from 22. It says, with Isaac did he likewise, he established likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men, which is talking about the Israelites, and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him a heritage, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he part them. So what does it say now? And he brought out of him a merciful man, which found favor in the sight of all flesh, even Moses, beloved of God and men, whose memorial is blessed. Now hold on. How's his memorial blessed if he fell off? If he fell out of the truth? Oh, let me read that again. And this wasn't written during the time of Moses. This is a record of Moses. So they had all the same writings of Moses we had, men of the Lord, and this is how they recorded Moses in the book of Sirach. It didn't say nothing about, oh yeah, but he fell out the truth. What are we talking about? It said, and he brought out of him a merciful man, which found favor in the sight of all flesh, even Moses, beloved of God and men, whose memorial is blessed. He made him like to the glorious saints and magnified him, so that his enemies stood in fear of him. By his words caused the wonders to cease, and he made him glorious in the sight of kings, and gave him a commandment for his people, and shewed him part of his glory. He sanctified him in faithfulness and meekness, and chose him out of all men. He made him to hear his voice, and brought him into the dark cloud, and gave him commandments before his face, even the law of life and knowledge, that he might teach Jacob his commandments and Israel his judgments. Right? See, it's going to go into Aaron. Just jump down. He was face to face. Both sides.
Come on, bro. You know what I mean? It's
Basically, it just goes in the wrong line
That's
of
pretty much
outrageous
what
stuff
yeah.
that the ISBK have been saying over the years, man. That's why that's totally bugged.
We're
Wasn't it ISUPK? Because the precept that's coming to my mind is about rebuke. Because really, if someone puts a video out like that in GMS, that's an immediate phone call.
Mm.
But wasn't that the same camp that basically after the whole slap situation, one of the guys,
That was general. He said he would advise his advice, his counsel, his spiritual counsel. Now our counsel would be charging. Like, yeah, we know the scriptures say adultery, and we know what the judgment is for adultery, but we're not in the time of judgment. We're in the time of grace. So if your woman commits adultery, don't charge it. Just give her the bill of divorce and gym membership and forget. Read the scriptures. Now ain't the time for vengeance, because if you go and take vengeance, guess what, man? You're gonna bring judgment on yourself. So that's the counsel man would have. The counsel, but actually, you know what? In this situation, the guy slapped you. Okay, charge it. The scriptures speak about turning the other cheek. If a brother comes to me and say, "Oh, this guy at work, he slapped me," I said, "Brother, did you defend yourself in that moment?" No, charge it. No, brother, I ain't gonna tell him I'll go to work the next day and punch him up. Why? So that boys in blue can come, because you go the next day, punch man up, premeditated, and you get put on charge. They're not going to call it self-defense. So my counsel is going to be about wisdom and in the brother's best interest. But remember, the Bible also, can we be angry and sin not? You could be angry that someone do something against you, but this point is that whatever you do in retaliation shouldn't be a transgression of the law anyway. So there's no such thing as revenge adultery. Oh, someone does
render not evil.
render not evil. Get that too. But he literally said, "Oh, I would counsel Chris Rock to go into man's house like a snake, be friends." It's
The whole plan,
the
the whole plot.
whole
And that guy, look, that guy sucks, bro. He always comes out with some
some wild.
weird shit.
But don't you think that's a bit snaky?
Yeah.
So you're gonna go in for the purpose of getting to a man's wife, you will befriend his son. So he's saying, go and befriend the son, yeah, so that you can get access to Jada,
That's some ghetto shit.
Bro,
so that you can pop Jada
that
now
was more than
as
that.
revenge because you got slapped. Get something real quick.
There's Matthew 12:34. O generations of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
When he said that, and pride, because the reason he could speak that so fluently is because of his title and his position. He's used to be able to, hey brother. Now you might have a position over brothers, yeah. But I'm not just gonna come along and be like, yeah, brother, you know what, man, yeah, like, oh, fuck that dude's wife. And then you just gotta be like, hard. No, like, but when you think that your title makes you God, and like now you got the sycophants underneath you, the whole structure lacks meaning now, because the spirit of the Lord isn't flowing through it.
But like I said earlier on, speak down the things that come sound doctrine. Yeah, that's not sound advice. It's not sound doctrine.
And if you could say that on camera,
Yeah.
boldly like that, yeah, and then no one checked him, no one even said to him like, yo, you said that fluently, bro. Now,
That's
what else are
doctrine,
you
like.
doing?
I think you could say just put on the button. There's a lot of things you could say.
Man could have said mutual combat.
No.
Celebrity, he could have said, I'd advise man to arrange a celebrity boxing. Yeah, bro, like, the first thing he thought of was do adultery, but in a snake way too. So you're going befriending the son, and I'm like, what? That's some real days about lying.
Why does it have to be adultery? I don't get it, man. What things you can do, you know?
And so that's the spirit.
Because the ultimate disrespect. That's why. It's the ultimate, and that's what you're trying to.
But guess what?
You know what I mean?
That's the spirit of carnality, and that's why women are dangerous, because it's that emotion. No one you want to get your lick back, they're willing to do whatever it takes. Where the revenge don't even match what the person did. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, remember that girl the other day that she said the my man must have violated or lied to her, so she basically got man done for the RAPE. Yeah, that's where that comes from, and he's coming in that same spirit. He's like, I just want to hurt you. I don't care how I hurt you. It could be the most heinous sin. I'm justified because I'm hurt. You know when you're hurt, so I can just do whatever I want. That's the spirit of wrath.
And
man.
and it's you know, he's saying that's what he should do because that's what he would do.
Exactly.
That's
You know?
what he's done.
Praise.
The Romans. And I always said some freaky shit every couple of years.
Oh well, Johanna said that he'd take the chip.
Who was the fuck?
If he needed to eat, he'd take the chip. He said that already.
Man, no, exactly.
Think so?
He said, well, if I gotta eat, then I'm gonna have to take the chip then. So that just shows you these men would just say anything, man. They're puffed up in their position. That whole IHCPK is not really a mechanism for the deliverance of the word of the Lord unto the saints. It's a mechanism for men to use it as an operating system to uplift themselves and have position over upper men. Just like the Catholic Church became.
The holy commander in general, the army.
When the bourgeois see the church, they didn't see the church as something spiritual. They saw it as an operating system. Just like how Esau sees democracy as an operating system. He doesn't believe in democracy, but he sees that I can use this system to get power and control. I don't believe in it. So these men don't really believe in the ministries for the perfecting of the saints, but the ministry as an infrastructure is useful for them to get the position of elder. So now they can go around and telling other people what to do and get a bunch of fame. So a gal might on the comment board want to come slide through and blow the top of the house off, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Curl them toes. That's what it's all about. When you're supposed to be humble and sincere, remember that this ministry is not for you and your personal flipping agenda in life.
Can I get to you? Yeah. It's from 1 John chapter 4, verse 5 it says, on top of 4, ye are of God, little children, and overcome them. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world. That's a worldly
That's
thing. What you're
worldly.
listening.
That's worldly. That's something that's something that you should hear from Adrian Broner. If Adrian Broner said that, you'd be like, yo, gang. Adrian be like, yo, gang. You know, and he'd be laughing. Yeah, that's how you
Because
from coming from no one with the scriptures, man.
And that's that slut that in the history of Suzanne, like with them two priests, where they were basically plotting to be like, look, man.
That's what we want them, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, look, man, if you have to let us both here.
Yeah, it's a boy.
Ain't no fun if the homies can't.
I saw niggas are eternal, bro.
Yeah.
Think about it. Just in the kingdom, they're going to be fighting God.
That's
From the beginning of time, there's always been niggas, bro. That's every generation.
Carnal. That's why the scripture said the carnal mind is enmity to the Most High, because it's not subject to the law of the Most High. When you would counsel someone to commit adultery, there actually isn't a good instance where you can justify it.
Well, the scriptures actually give them a name, man. The sons of Belial. Yeah, I mean, it's not a seed line. It's just the term it's an ancient term for nigger. No, it is. If you look at the scriptures, sons of Belial, it's like naughty niggas. Throughout the scriptures, who actually say it, man. Niggas,
it was a lewd fellow.
no, but that is lewd.
That's a lewd act. That's some days of our lives soap opera type thing.
The they are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. So anyone that's on that vibration, yeah, you're gonna like, oh, yeah, that's why no one checked it. No one said nothing. But they of that same
Sounds about right.
Okay, I just got to put the definition. So I went into sons of Belial, okay? and I went into the definition. And if you go into the definition of it, it says worthlessness, naughty, ungodly, wicked men, base, rude, and it says good for nothing.
Yeah.
That's Jake. You good for nothing. For nothing. Good for nothing, man.
That's what they are. Someone got be angry and sin not.
young. Verse 6, we are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us. He that is not of God heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error.
And that's why you always see the sycophants that follow in the comment board, and they come with the same lines. Oh, you guys are just hating. You guys are just haters.
Who's the
Right,
rebuke supposed to be for then?
Yeah,
If it ain't them and guys like that, who's the rebuke supposed
why
to be
why
for?
would we hate like IUIC? We're hating for what, bro? Like, what have you got that we don't?
We're just
Are you
trying to
serious?
turn you away from judgment, man. Ultimately, if you can be saved, you know, we're
Yeah.
just trying to do that.
Like I say on the islands, man, right, wrong, wrong.
Mhm.
That's what it's really all about.
Mhm.
If you didn't chat breeze, you wouldn't have to say nothing, man. How can you counsel a man and then now you're trying to say that Moses fell out the truth, man? What's that for? Where's the edification in that? How is that edifying anyone to make such a statement come out your mouth, man? There ain't no edification. You know what it does do? It makes you look like you're better. Hey, because I didn't fall out the truth, Moses did. That's really what it is. It's you denigrating the old people. Do that. They denigrated man that came before them to try and uplift themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you see man do that all the time, try to play down people's accolades to make your accolades look better.
First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 15. See that none render evil for evil unto any man.
Evil for evil. That's what they were saying.
We don't play that game.
Man came and slapped you, so now you're going to pop his wife. That's evil for evil. And if he was in the ancient world and you did that, if you come to the council, man would be put to death. He wouldn't. For him slapping you, you didn't lose an eye.
Yeah.
Man, now you're going to get stoned. Like, it's just like, what was it? Remember that time when we was going into the whole thing about Leviticus not Deuteronomy 22. We were going into the great thing, right? And then you had Polite there whipping people up into hysteria, and the ICBK guys were saying, yeah, if man did that, yeah, man, what would you do? You'd kill man. It's like, actually, no, but that's not a judgment in the scriptures. So now you get someone done for murder. Because when you come before the council of the elders and you explain why you killed the man, they'll say, but where does it say in the judgment that you should have done that? That's not a lawful killing. That's like a man scratching my car and I kill him. You would have got put to death for that. You get stoned for that. Like, what do you mean he scratched my car, I found out about it. So I went, shanked him up. Yeah. That's what it means, rendering evil for evil. There's a judgment for the man scratching your car, stabbing him up 10 times, saying, yeah, bro. And if you do that, that's why we live in the world that we do, where people are constantly doing things to each other that don't even balance out what the person initially did. Just because you're hurt or you perceive you're hurt, because a lot of time man are just perceiving they're hurt, yeah, doesn't give you the right to then now do whatever you want in retaliation. The whole getting your lick back, lying. Seen it all the time. Any man that's worked in customer service and get hurt because you didn't allow them to do what they want, and they just make up some shit on the spot to try and get you fired or something. That's wickedness. Yep. Even if I didn't give you good customer service, why are you lying for? Now you're committing the evil. Oh, render not.
See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good. Uphold yourself to the scriptures, to the law, statutes, commandments. That's what you're meant to be holding yourself up to. No matter how you feel about it, this is that guide.
I saw man's sister and I slapped her. I saw man's cousin and I spat him. You know them ones? That's the grimy. You know them grimy dudes, bro. Man saw man's Marjay and slapped the bags out of her hand.
It was like the women that were out there in London the other day, and she unliked her or something. She ran her over, bro, and killed her. You know? Like crazy, bro. Like, what's going on? You are bugging out. You know?
Because he's hurt.
There's ever follow that which is good both among yourself and to all men. So even in a situation where Will Smith and Chris Rock, they're not in the truth, but they are part of mankind.
And even if you're not in the truth, like for instance, man, brothers, we live in the real world, so you might work with Jake, and Jake listens to you sometimes because we carry ourselves a little bit different. Obviously, man can be around the world because we was in the world, but we know how to operate in the world where we're not gonna go along with. So man might banter on a football thing or whatever, but when man not want to do foolishness, man will check back from that. You think I had man that said to me? But I remember one guy. He was telling me about he was committing adult. He had one girl he knew, and she was with a guy that he knew, and man's all texting her in the morning. Yeah, she's like, he went to me, and she loves me, man. And the man was like, he's down bad right now. He's still working on that. Anyway, man was all like, had that smile on his face. He was smitten, yeah. And then he was telling me about how, he's with the guy. He was with her before or something, but then they're not together. And she got with his next dude. Now she's breed for the dude. So you got a family and everything. Now she's laying in bed next to man, texting him and this, that, and the other. And I like, now, if I'm gonna be in the world as a man in the world, man will go along with it, right? Yeah, yeah, flap them cheeks up. It don't matter, fam. What did I say to him? I said, bro, that's not a good idea. Right. Should have said to him straight, but that's not a good idea. I didn't start going into the scriptures and start being holier than thou. I just said to man straight up, bro, that's not a good idea, bro. I just left it at that, innit? I'm not gonna encourage. So even guys in the world, if I had to advise a guy in the world, I'm not gonna give man worldly advice. I'm gonna give man spiritual advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's a guy in the world, like, you know, you might know a guy and he's on some opting. I'm not gonna say, yeah, man, what you should do, yeah, you should hang out outside the yard, wait for man to come out, yeah, and just flap off his head back. Yeah, 'cause you gotta get your. No, man was
Like,
like,
bro, leave it alone.
yeah, but allow it, fam.
I get a quick one. It says Proverbs 6:32. It says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
So you can't counsel a man to do that. That's evil and wicked. And he said that with all the officers and that there.
Because if you're meant to love your neighbor, which is your brother, right? You're not meant to counsel him in things that are against the Most High. You're not meant to do that because you're already, pushing his downfall, basically.
Even if it's a heathen.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Even if it's a heathen, because now the heathen will turn around and do it and then say, oh, that guy told me to do it. Now you're making the ministry look the money.
Because you get certain of them wicked jakes that say, oh well, I can commit adultery with her because her man's a heathen, and it's like, where's that kind of law? In fact, that when you read Genesis with Joseph, right, which quote Pharaoh's woman, she was all up on Joseph, but he was like, nah.
There's a reason that in war we have to pull the men and then take the women. You don't take a woman with what because there's a contract there.
And the key was,
even right
in war, I wouldn't just do that random shit.
Put
Put the woman in the shopping cart. Like, sit down. Fucking sweet.
Yeah, like even look at the example is remove not thy neighbor's landmark. That doesn't just apply to Israelites. That applies to the heathen as well. You got to respect contract and respect landmarks, man. But the Lord man don't see it like because they're proud.
A little bit more. So it says, a wound, and then back in Proverbs 6:33 now, a wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. The jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
So when man put you to death now it's my man's fault for saying he just countered you, and then now Will Smith's coming with a shot. And then now look, innit? So man countered you to do some foolishness, man. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it, bro, because any man can get angry and blow your head off, man. It could be the pussiest guy you think. I might crash out. Man.
Remember that geezer from years ago? You willing to die for this pussy?
Oh, I might crash out on you, bro. The guy that quiet, he ain't up to stuff.
Yeah.
He just crash out.
Seen it with certainly the Edomites that I've worked with. Like, it'll be just nerdy Edomites. But when they talk about their ex-wives, damn, like their whole countenance changes. You see them, you're like, oh,
crash out. So be careful when you're out there committing adultery, bro, because there's many a video online that show a man getting dealt with wicked.
Yeah. Well.
And I know we're not telling you, we're just telling you from the other side of it, yeah. This is what could happen to you for doing them things, man.
Well, remember recently that Jake. Today's the good day.
Yeah.
On a live stream. So I've been posting use my mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there she goes. Right. She got to run back in the house.
Now we ain't saying that we would advise a man to do that, but what was she doing? Lying. So you put yourself in a situation, and now man crashed out.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is not do evil, man. Do good. You got be angry and sin not.
Ephesians 4, verse 22. It says, but ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed.
Which that's part of that old man, like, you know what I mean? Just unbridled rage. You're like,
and
you know
it's
what I mean?
facing
Like,
things
you're-
that
yeah.
dopamine in the instant, yeah, doesn't always lead to good things. We speak about it all the time. Sexual lust. You can't control your sexual lust, man. A lot of men are in trouble off the back of that, but they don't know how to see a gal and just keep it pushing. They just too much on the thing or something. That's why it's called deceitful lust, because it lies to you, makes you think everything's sweet, but you can get yourself in trouble. You gotta know how to have self-control, man, because your lust can lead you down the wrong path, man. And the same thing goes with anger and wrath. There's many a man sitting in jail right now off wrath, not knowing how to deal with anger in the moment.
Okay.
There was one video, you know the video. Remember that dude that shot his brother-in-law in the face, and he was wanted for bad time, and they were looking for him. And then he even did it. They ended up catching him, and he did it in it. He said, "Listen, man, it's my nephew's dad. It's my sister's husband. We was friends." And it's like they got into an argument, and he had the gun on him, and he said they were arguing. I think it was money or something they were arguing about. And he's like, "Yeah, man told me." I said, "Oh, I want my money though," and the guy said, "Nah, it's up my dick." And he said, "What?" And he just put the gun up, boom. And he said the minute he did it, because obviously you got that feeling, you know, when you got that rage, it's in your body. You want to do something. Your body actually wants to give you some satisfaction. And yeah, and then as soon as he got the satisfaction, the after part came.
Regret.
Yeah.
The regret, because you can't put man's head back together. Once you've done that,
But this is why, you know, man should, hey, pride is not made for men.
they're the rat.
Pride and ego, man. Like, it was hurt. Like, what? Something
It hurt.
what? No.
And then he's
You're
going to
like,
jail.
stupid.
You got to look at your nephew and explain to your nephew why his dad ain't here no more.
Mm-hmm.
You got his sister, and he was remorseful. He was 100% remorseful. He said, "Look, bro, if I could go back, I wouldn't have done it that way." But that's why the scripture says, "Be angry and sin not." One of the main things that man has to learn to do is how to control your emotions when you're angry. There's bare man in jail off the back of that. 5 seconds of heat, and that's it. Man's getting 25 to life. And sometimes, again, they look back on it, it's like, raw. It didn't have to be that way. Happens a lot, man. You'll be surprised. But not just to the extent of murder, other things. Man do things and it's like, oh, raw, I handled that wrong, you know. You know what I mean? Man had head loss. Like that guy that ran that chick over. Eventually, she gonna realize, oh, shit, man. That was head loss, bro. Yeah, but it says, you was all right for you to be angry. That man jumped you. But the scripture says, be angry and sin not.
So, verse 23, and it says, "And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you put on the new man, that you after the Most High is created
The
in."
new man requires temperance, man. Requires patience and the will to suffer. Because that's what we have to do in the truth, man. We suffer.
Mark.
You know, Yahushua had to sit there, you know, be there and suffer. He could have lost his shit.
Which is a suffering. You know when someone pisses you off? I know I've done that to you a few times. Yeah? So, hey, listen, I'm that kind of guy, man. Yeah? It gets like that certain times, yeah? And you're always clenching like you want to hit, man. And your body is telling you, we've all been there. When you're so angry, you're fighting like not just hitting someone. Because you're so burning with anger, that shows you a carnal thing. Your body is actually activating and saying, I want to put hands on you. And you got to be like, you got to suffer it. Just hold it firm. Some men don't know how to hold it firm. They're just going to crash out on people. As soon as they get that feeling, they're crashing out. They're giving in to the emotion. They don't know how to suffer it. And then those are the type of people that always find themselves in sticky situations.
But that's what meekness is about.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're commanded to be, meek.
Now, that don't mean you don't defend yourself, but you got to use your spirit, man. Be spiritual about things, not carnal. The carnal responds to sensualities. It responds to feelings and emotions, and it acts upon them. Impulsiveness, that's Jake. Impulsive in the moment. You get in the club, they playing all this adultery music, and you're feeling the vibes. Now you're committing adultery because you feel the vibes. The situation. That's why it says how it feels. How can something so wrong feel so right? Why does it feel right? Because your body is activated. It's sweet. That's another thing as well. You got duper's delight. That's a real thing. When you're getting one over on someone, it releases dopamine. That's why a lot of people get addicted to thieving. You know, you get certain people that's got money and they shoplift. And they don't even need to shoplift because they're addicted to the feeling of, oh, I've just stole and got away with it. It's duper's delight, man. It's a real thing. Again, what does that go back to? The body. It's a carnal thing because the dopamine release is a physical thing. You know? That's why man's love adultery so much. In fact, let me tell you a story about adultery, man. One guy told me a story. He said, bro, man was popping his best friend's woman. Best friend. And he said, listen, bro, you see this guy? Badness. Man's on real badness. If he found out, no doubt, she's dead and I'm dead. And man said the relationship they were in was even the physical time. Meaning the way she liked it was to get flapped around and all them kind of things, yeah? And man literally told me that them man will be doing the boogie. And man, up until my man's pulled up on the drive. Yeah?
Just doing that.
But they're doing it, and but that is a lot of times man are committing adultery. That's part of it. It's the excitement of the duper's delight, the excitement of almost getting caught, and you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, and you're getting away with it, and your body's actually being filled with adrenaline and dopamine. So it's the carnal. That's why the Bible speaks about the sensual, the carnal man, because your body is now working against you. So you got at that point, you got to stop listening to the body and listen to the spirit. Like, this is wrong. But if you listen to the body, you're gonna get addicted to that feeling of the adrenaline. And all of a sudden, man even told me that man will go around at their house to eat dinner, and my man will imagine man invited you into your house to eat dinner, and man would get up and go to the kitchen, and she would come, and he's having a full-on fight with the girl, ripping her up by the neck and all kind of crazy shit, yeah? Up until the point where man's like damn near coming back into the room. You know what I mean? And in the end, he said she didn't want to lock it off, but he locked it off because it was getting peaked. You know, he's still alive. So, but again, it's a real thing where your adrenaline and dopamine works against you. And a lot of time you can get dopamine and adrenaline from things which are evil. That's why the scripture says what it says about the body. The body will betray you. The carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. Your sexual lust doesn't understand adultery, it just understands vagina and the sensuality. So when she's blowing your top, blood, it feels good. You can't help it. It's releasing endorphins and dopamines in your brain, blood. You're on cloud 9. Ain't nobody ever got some adultery dome and ain't been on cloud 9, bro. Of course, dome is dome, innit? You get me? But that's when the spirit.
That's what I was gonna say. Because it didn't have to be her though. Why her? You could have got.
That's right. So that's when the spirit is supposed to kick in and make a decision. And you might be burning for it because your body is burning for it. That's why you have to suffer. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, go on.
This is a quick one on that. This is Proverbs 9:17 to 18. Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten is secret.
That's a real thing. Stolen waters is sweet. People don't realize that thieving becomes addictive.
Yeah.
The heist, the robbery, it's better than when you work hard. I'm telling you.
Bro, remember back in the day, man, everyone used to have a nigga that did the scams and the credit cards. They're like, oh yeah, bro. But all I need is this one square. And yeah, man, like my will make 2,000-3,000 in the morning.
And it feels good.
It feels great. It was funny. I said to you, bro. Years down the line, I realized all these credit card scams niggas are doing in the end. But just a nigga getting the back and holding your name. Taking the money. Like, it wasn't black and no gold. He just taking your card. He took your cards, got a bank loan, and you gave him money.
So you went to the bank and something went wrong. And now they want the money anyway.
Yeah.
But the point is that there is an element of crime becomes addictive because you're now addicted to the adrenaline of the crime.
Yeah.
The adrenaline of the crime or the dopamine from getting away with it. Like, you know, when a man do a move and they're on their way from the move and the cops ain't there, them man are on cloud 9. Why? It's a physical, it's their bodies releasing them. That's what the scripture's literally telling you. Which shows you the Bible is science, bro. The Bible is telling you what does it mean sweet? It feels sweet. Stolen water. When a man steal your car and they're driving it, it feels better than when you buy it. I'm telling you the truth. That's why the man used to chordy the thing. When you buy the thing, you like it, but it's not the same as when you stole it because you didn't pay for it. It's extra. They'll say, "Oh, there are cars being wicked." I'm telling you the truth. That when the man steal when you worked hard and you bought your BMW flipping whatever series, what's a good one, man? You know, you buy an X5, you feel good. The dopamine's hitting you because you went through the whole process of buying it. The guy that steals it, he's gonna feel better than you. Bro, he's gonna be on cloud 9. He's gonna be, what does he call it? Fast and furious, bro. You're gonna be driving reckless in your car, then he's gonna sell it, yeah, and get pure profit. And he's gonna feel on cloud 9. That's why he's gonna have to do it again and again. And people say, why these men keep doing and they never stop? Because it becomes addictive. It's your body is actually saying, I like the feeling.
And what to say? Evil. It's in my head, man. I can't get it out.
I love the game. What did my man say? I love the game. Yeah, he loved how the money was coming in and out, and it was easy money.
And it says, so stolen waters are sweet. Proverbs 9:17. Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. So even though it's not off per se, yeah, even though it's not off per se, but even if you remember, man, as a kid, you know your parents will cook, and then it's time to go to bed, and you sneak downstairs.
Yeah, you get the duper's delight.
Yeah. I mean,
Look, this. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I was in my mind. I couldn't get it out. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 7. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, because they get away with it. It's like,
I know niggas like
I'm gonna
that.
do it again.
I know one nigga like that personally, bro. And this nigga has 9 lives. Always gets away with shit. And recently, this nigga got away in some ways with something. I was chatting to the nigga the other day. It's like, thinking to like, yeah, I'm like, bro, just chill.
No, but they can't because
Sit
they're in
down.
love with the game. Look, I'm gonna show you here, and that's why some people that are liars, they can't stop lying either. This is duper's delight. It's a psychological term for the thrill or smug pleasure someone experiences when successfully deceiving or manipulating others. It's a real thing. That's why they'll lie, and sometimes they can't even hide the dopamine is so much releasing in their body that they're smiling. So remember, some people lie; they can't do it with a straight face. They're smiling while they're doing it because it's like OJ. The psychology of duper's delight, the thrill of the lie, the emotional boost comes from a dopamine release in the brain, which is a drug your body's producing, when a liar successfully pulls one over an unsuspecting person or organization. All right. It says, while anyone can experience it, the feeling is highly common among individuals who exhibit manipulative or psychopathic traits as they crave the excitement of bending others to their will. So some people, they love to lie and they love to steal, because when they steal, they get a rush. Just like some men love to commit violence, because when they commit the violence, they get a rush. It's a physical rush. Soldiers can get it.
Them football fucking hooligans, the ultras, man.
Yeah.
You know? Green
So-
Street, man.
So that's why the adultery seems sweet, man. That adulterous panani is better than any panani because it's forbidden. That's why they call it the forbidden fruit. Because that whole act of manipulating and lying and sneaking around is exciting and it gives you the dopamine. It's what they call it? It's a deceitful lust. But the scriptures broke it down perfectly. It said it's sweet. But if a spiritual man know that it's really bitterness, man, and you go against the body, like, oh, get away from that. Get some good dopamine. Legit dopamine.
Because sentence against the evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully setting them to do evil.
Fully set.
Yeah, so they'll keep doing it and doing it.
That's what he's on.
You get like I said, you get serial shoplifters that they have the money, they can buy it, but the feeling they get when they steal, it's just too much to resist.
Yeah, even I saw one time that nigga rapper called that Black. He said something like, he said, like, bro, I'm a millionaire, but every store I go into I rob something. Even
Yeah.
Oh, even Spray said that. Remember when Spray said that? Yeah. Young Spray's like, bro, I can't help it, man. The store, like,
But you notice the pattern here.
niggas.
These guys are these are the men that are bad breeds.
Yeah.
They're stuck in that carnal mindset. It's a carnal mind. They're stuck with the dopamine, and they need that dopamine hit that comes from. Hey, the script. Listen, man. So they're talking about, oh, this psychologist came up with Duper's delight. Bro, the scriptures told you about Duper's delight. It told you about how the carnal, how the body can actually feed into you doing wickedness by releasing dopamine and things like that when as a reward for some wickedness that you did. Because dopamine is a reward drug. Your body's rewarding you.
Yep.
So now you're deceived by it. That's why it said, how can something so wrong feel so right? Because it feels righter than when you know.
It's all perpetuates that. Well, you know, you get that saying, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Yeah.
Sometimes loving you is wrong, bro.
Gotta charge it, man. Move on.
Though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God.
Now, going back to the fear of the Lord, man, when you disrespected Moses, a man that beloved of the Most High, don't you have no fear to do that? Don't you have no,
Miriam and Aaron.
yeah. Don't you have
Faithful
no
to them.
fear to speak in such a manner? Like, who are you to be even making those statements that other prophets in the scriptures didn't make? I don't remember no one in the scriptures mentioning nothing about Moses fell out the truth. So why do you feel that you are the guy that has to come in 2026 and be the one to break that down?
When Yahweh started giving accolades to man's here and there, John the Baptist got accolades, Moses got accolades, Elijah, the old man got accolades.
I never said nothing like that. Yeah. He never had to denigrate Moses to be uplifted. No. Because Moses himself uplifted him. Because he's come in the volume of the book. It's written of him. He didn't have to break down Moses. Moses was already down.
Still a great man.
Oh, Moses fell out the truth, but I'm here. I'm the Messiah. But he never had to do that, man. Hey, guys gotta be humble, man. Stay humble, eh?
Because even Yahweh was speaking to the wicked scribes and Pharisees, like Abraham, these were great men in that, but the one greater than Abraham, one greater than Solomon, and all these things. He's saying, look, I'm greater, but these men are,
they want to be
they're the
great
guys,
by chatting breeze, by just for saying, and to these men, they are greater, and that's the problem.
it almost feels like they're saying it for shock value as well, man. Just so they can, maybe they're dying, innit? Maybe they're not getting as many views. I don't know.
Well, no, what it is they're in the echo. Like I said, they have a system now where they're established, and now the system is more about them than it is about the truth of the Most High. That's all it is. They don't respect the word of the Most High. You got to. Can we get Ephesians the 4th chapter?
Yeah.
You can never. You could never forget what this ministry is all about. I don't care what rank you are, whether you're on the other side of the camera, or whether you're holding signs, so to speak. Brothers don't really hold signs no more. You're holding signs. You're a reader. You're a speaker. Regardless of all that, we're all here for the same purpose, and that's to uplift the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Right.
You have to remember that it's not for you. Like Sakari, we always speak about his psychology. Again, he tried to use the truth as just the operating system. Okay, so boy, if I can get a title in this thing, it's kind of like being the gang. It's kind of like being a captain in the mafia, because it's just an authority system. So you're just trying to. Yeah, this truth does have an authority system. So it's just like you're trying to find a position in the authority system, but then change the whole purpose of the system for you. You know?
This is counter example, but like you can think of some of the great football players in the world, right? Very few have 3 Champions League trophies, very few. But Seedorf, I think, is
He's
one.
the only one.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually you're right. No, he might be more. He might be more.
With 3 different
Yeah.
But,
I was thinking
but Arsenal win the Champions League. Kepa has 3.
Yeah.
Point being is it's like you can look at the whole thing of I'm the guy, I want to be the top guy, whatever. But sometimes being part of the team is all that matters, man.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's sort of like what scriptures say that we're all going to get the same thing.
And what's the team here for? Like, if you want to take it into the football thing, you're not just trying to be the captain of the football team so you can now get man to wash your boots. And now all of a sudden, now you're the captain of the football team, and you start taking the piss. You start John Terry in it and banging man's wives and doing what you want. The whole point is you got to remember that even though you're the captain of the team, the whole purpose of the team is for the team to win.
Exactly.
It's to increase the quality of all the players so that you can win.
Yeah.
You got to remember what the goal is. What's the goal of this ministry? But these men have forgotten the goal because they don't really care about the goal in the ministry no more. They're all about how can we use this operating system to get money and power? Because that's really all it is. And then once you have the money and the power, now I can use my power and more of what I want comes out. More of my own lust. So Sakari is a prime example of that. He found himself operating system. He utilized the truth to get men underneath him so he could get money, so he can live the lifestyle he always wanted to live. He want to go to the club. He want the diamond chains. He want to be the typical, what they call it, the nigger rapper archetype. The nigger gangster rapper archetype is what he wants. And so what did he do? He morphed the operating system of the ministry to feed that ego. That's what he did. It became about him. But first, he had to get himself into that position of authority and power where he could do that. That's not what we're here for. That's if you look at the apostles and elders, man, they stick to the scriptures and they don't do too much. They're not trying to exert their personal feelings into the ministry or their personal lust and their personal aspirations. Like Apostle Gabar used to play the drums. You don't see him now commanded man to start a drum band. Hold my sticks. You know what I mean? You stick to what the mission is, and that's part of humility.
This will go First Corinthians 12 and from 18. But now, as Most High set the members, every one of them in the body, as it has pleased him. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are they many members, yet but one body.
It's cool. Like it's nothing. It's cool being number 2, number 5, whatever it is. Like, bro, it doesn't matter, bro. It's really about just again being a part of the team. It's about being a part of the Lord's elect, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, guys, a very good example in a carnal world. Oh, what's that guy that's always with 50 Cent? You know that
Tony Yayo.
Tony Yayo. He fully embraces like, look, man, 50 is the main guy. I'm doing what I'm doing. 50 might get like 100 grand. I might get 10, but charge it. I'm still winning.
You're still in the entourage
Yeah,
and that.
bro. Like,
Man wants to
How shines ministry.
Man wants to become 50. I ain't even to make sure everybody eats.
Yeah.
It's to just make sure that he could do what he
Yeah,
wants.
yeah.
And that's how it is. You become a poison, and you can see it. Johanna, Nate, all these guys have let their personal lust infiltrate into the truth. They become puffed up with pride, and they forgot their first humility. They forgot who they were when you were nobody, and the Lord brought you into this truth. Like you literally were nobody, and we're not special in the way of we're special of ourselves. We're special if the Lord makes us special. So you could be a crackhead on the side of the street with no understanding, just as easy as anyone else. The Lord could snap his finger, and you could be bugged out on the side of the street. So humble yourself.
It's like the Lord said he can raise stones, right?
Yeah.
We were those stones that came in. We weren't nothing.
But now he's a general, so now he could talk about, he could proudly proclaim how he'll counsel a man to commit adultery, and think that's okay. That's not okay, man.
So on the example of like just being a body, and all working together, like I've experienced it in the workplace where here it is, it's like all man have to do, honestly, all certain man had to do, like everyone buckle up, put on their boots, right? Work for the goal of the business. A man after 3 years would have come off with like 300-400K if the business had hit certain goal, right? All man had to do. The ego's got in the way, right? People wanted to do things for their own glories and this, that, and the other, and the business went to shit.
It's that bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's that bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ego, man. That's why people speak about humility and meekness. They don't really truly understand what it is. And it's very difficult to do.
And these guys talk about ego.
Being humble is difficult, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, because as men, as soon as you get a little bit of authority, you can forget yourself very easily. It's because it's the body, it's the carnal mind. That's why you always have to remind yourself, like, yo, keep it low, like keep it. We all got that pride that can just lift you up. And as soon as you get man start rating you, you've seen it. Man go crazy, but man go crazy with it. That's why you see people. Certain times it's not for everyone. Having everyone praise you.
It takes a few guys.
Yeah.
Keep your mind in that mode.
No, you got 10 men that's rating you all the time. That can blow your mind. Man. All of a sudden, you think.
Yeah. Then start driving around like gets, bro.
Yeah, you know,
the head.
You know, in your bubble, you're the guy in it. It's like,
you could get puffed up.
Saying you got that the actor Matthew McConaughey, he just came out with something. He was like, look, man, the fame was too much, man. I just had to go to the middle, I think it was like Peru. Or somewhere it was like there was no electricity. It just he was like he loved the fact he was able to be embraced by people that just knew him as Mateo. Right.
Yeah, because the man gassing you up, yeah, and you start believing the gas.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're perfect. You, and then you forget yourself, man.
And the thing is, like, with those individuals that get to that level, they start being able to see that everyone's around them is fake. Sycophant. Yeah. When you're at that top level, where it's like everyone, you know it was a shit movie. Yo, that was your best movie. You're like, bro, shut up.
That's what man did. Man sat there with his sycophants and said something, and that's why he was so comfortable saying it, because this title and his position affords him to say what he wants, which is not really the case. Yes, your title and position should afford you to speak, but you still have a responsibility to speak right. It doesn't just afford you to speak. Now you've got title with no substance.
It's like when Moses set up the king in Israel, right? What did the king have to go by?
The law.
The law. You have to meditate in the law, right? He couldn't just speak what he wanted to speak. He had to be in accordance with the Most High, because the Most High is the ultimate ruler. He's the one that sets right from wrong.
Otherwise, you're used to it.
But like, the king's got all this power, though. But he has a responsibility to the people, his people that he's ruling over, to guide them in the right way.
Power just by itself doesn't have value. The value comes in what you use the power for. You know what I'm saying? So there's no point in getting titles in the ministry, but only then to go against the ministry by doing what you want. You've just violated the whole purpose of the title, and these men forget themselves. You want to be a general, you want to be a deacon, you want to be the head of a camp, not because you really want to look after the flock and do the things that you're meant to do. It's because you want the accolade and you want man to look up to you, so you can send man to shop. That's really what it is. You want to be able to send man shop. That's really why you want a power trip. And you want to say what you want to say, and man ain't going to back you up for it. But if you was a little guy, you couldn't say that, because man might back you up for it.
But it's the same on the road. The man want to be in a certain place so they can tell man to do this.
And then no man can back you up for it. Go on, no. Okay.
Jump down into 2 Corinthians 12 and 27. Now ye are the body for Mashiach, and members in particular. And Mosiah has set some in the church, first apostle, secondary, prophet, thirdly, teacher. After that miracle, then gift of hearing, herbs, government, diversity of tongues, are all apostle.
And every single person in that position is still working towards the same goal. Should still all be upholding the word of the Lord. You don't get to a certain position and now you're not subject to the word of the Lord no more. You're your own word. I never broke the law. I am the Lord. Now you are the Lord. No, you don't get to make shit up.
I can lie. You just can't lie.
Yeah.
So, man.
Yeah. You start being proud, and now you can wear a fitted cap because you said so. Because you like it.
Because Paul was not an authority.
Because your head top's crazy. Because your hairlines is.
But this is the thing. This is what we're going into. It's like they're taking authority,
man.
They're taking.
You're that self-conscious.
Yeah, bro.
You see where he is at now, isn't it? He's gone. He's now. This operating system ain't working for him because he got exposed. He goes to try and leech onto a new operating system. Because a guy that wants power and authority to abuse don't care what the operating system is. Esau's a perfect example. Listen, man, Esau don't care if it's communism, socialism, capitalism. They got everyone arguing about all these isms and schisms. Esau don't give a fuck. Esau will use whatever operating system is necessary to achieve the goal that he wants, which is just power. He doesn't care how that power falls into his hands, as long as it's in his hands. He'll happily switch from one system to another, as long as he gets to control both systems.
It's like these Elamite rage baiters.
Yeah.
What is the posting, bro?
Yeah.
It's just the operating system, Tim. Whereas you believe in it. He don't believe in it inherently. He believed in what he could get out of it. So he will be a Christian if the operating system of being a Christian allows him to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
The minute that don't work, he'll be a Muslim. As long as that operating system puts him in a position of authority where he could tell you what to do. And if that don't work, he'll be a Hindu. And if that don't work, he'll be whatever he needs to be, as long as there's a system in place that he can abuse. And that's why you guys like Sakari He just happened to find himself in this thing.
Gonna do the same thing.
And that's what the scripture speaks about. You know, our enemy, you know, enemy. You know, he'll take whatever form he needs to take to deceive you. That's why I said never trust our enemy, because he's gonna do all these things, man. Change his countenance, cry a little. He's gonna do all this just so he can be in that position of power and control. You know.
Now these guys forget themselves and start messing up scriptures, just like what we teach about the MOTB. We painstakingly through the spirit revealed that the MOTB is the mark, right? But none of us took that as like, oh, it's the mark, and sycophantly just said it's the mark, and parroted it. The elders themselves gave us the scriptures, yeah, and then we went and searched it out. That's why there's so much
All good, mate.
there's so much research from brothers in GMS on the mark, because we're not just gonna listen to a breakdown and just accept it to be that, yeah. We're gonna be prudent about it.
Oh.
So the level of documented information we brought out about the MOTB system is just so overwhelming that how can you even argue against it? Because we're constantly looking and seeking, and because we want to make sure that we're right. Because we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to be right just because we're GMS. That's bullshit. I don't care about GMS. What matters is the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Like, where's your white woman's doctrine? Where's your theory? What's happening with that?
Yeah,
Is that developing? Is that what's going on with that?
It's made it up. and then if we're wrong on something, we'd have to admit we're wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's what meekness is. Because the most important thing is not to be right because you're right. The most important thing is the Lord is right.
Yes.
Like that's why I said, let God be true and every man a liar. So you have when you're teaching this truth, the most important thing is to be right. So if we get something wrong, we got to come back here, apologize, and say, you know what, man, we was wrong on that. This is the right thing.
Yeah.
We can't just brush it under the rug, yeah, and act like, and then just continue teaching the wrong thing to save face. Because now you're being proud. Because you're trying to save your face by desecrating the face of the Lord. It's not gonna work, bro.
You know, as when you talk about, you know, the plethora of information that through the spirit brothers are brought up about the mark of the beast. I think about the scripture that this brother just read in Corinthians 12, right? Where it's just like every brother's kind of broken it from their own kind of understanding of the world, the gifts that the Lord has given them. They from one side, it's, you know, sort of brothers are which you call it, deep into going into the languages. Okay, that word, yeah, that's corruption and that. But when you look at that, that's the line and all of that. But then you've got some brothers that went through on the technical side, some brothers that have been other places and they were like, bro, the technology's it. And then we've all been able to come together and be like, put it all together.
I see. Yeah. They just they just regurgitated and they never was prudent because
I don't like digital currencies.
What? Because Nate sat there and he said to his congregation, radio frequency identification. Where's my dog? Its location. It's like, bro, okay, is that true? Okay, RFID, okay, Wikipedia, usage, contactless payment. Yo, Nate, it says here it's not just location, mate. That's what brothers in GMS are taught to do. The elders didn't teach us in a way of everything we say. Yeah, obviously you got to teach the truth. And if you don't like it, you can leave. But they don't say like, don't look things up. just trust me, bro.
But us over here, because we've been using the card for time, and like we knew instantly that wasn't fucking the truth. Without even looking into it.
So what the fuck is this guy talking about?
I know America went all into the whole contactless system and that, but
now
we knew that.
Now how we know that Nate something ain't right there is Nate's a detective. Now to become a detective, you can't be an idiot. You have to be able to be prudent. That's how you and very prudent. Because remember,
it should be the best.
One mistake on a case, yeah, and a guilty person is got a technicality. So that's why detectives go through the whole That's why detectives go through the whole process of they don't just let anyone become a detective. You have to be a higher level of intelligence and a higher level of prudence. Yet why didn't Nate know that the RFID is also for contactless payments? When it took 2 second Google, I think Google came back with the results in like 0.0012 seconds. And the first thing was Wikipedia, boom. Then usage, boom. Research done.
points.
And he never came back and corrected it for years. He hasn't really corrected it. He's never come back and addressed it and said, you know what? I said that RFID wasn't for contactless payments, and I was wrong on that.
It's funny because part of the radio frequency, and then what do you go on and say? Identification. When you can identify something, that's the whole point. This RFID system is going to be used to identify every single person. That's why they're also talking about this digital ID. You look at a stone.
Well, they say it's going to identify the worshippers of the beast.
Yeah,
That's
That's what it's supposed to.
Well, I just had to renew my license the other day. So when you go in the UK to renew your license now, it would say, oh, you got to click through for them, and it'll say you need to create one government account, which now covers a lot of different things. So when you go to do the one gov, obviously you need to prove who you are. So they say you have to either do it through the driver's license or the passport. Now, the UK passport is a biometric RFID passport. So what you need to do is download the gov.id app, right? And then the first thing it will do is tell you to scan the image that's on your passport so you can get that information. So it scans it. The next thing it tells you to do is place the phone on the passport, and then it will vibrate and read the information on the chip, right? And then it goes, okay, we've confirmed who you are. And then you have to always scan your face. So what it's doing then is checking the picture that's on the hard copy. It's also checking the picture and the information within the chip, and then it's checking you. Yeah?
Remember, see what you just described? That's what I experienced in Ghana. Remember I told you?
Yeah, speak on it.
They were scanning the whoa, this lady was
Ghana's the third one.
Ghana, yeah.
In the developing world.
Bro.
Actually, I would say is
It's somewhere.
developing world.
Bro, bro, that same thing you described is what I had to do in Ghana. The lady got my passport. I was like, what, for a SIM card? She said, yeah. Scan my passport, and then she scanned my face. And that was it. I think I had to keep my fingerprint on her phone.
So then I remember when we went to, because you see, Brothers was prudent. They had at the Queen Elizabeth Exhibition Centre in central London, and Brothers had to do skullduggery. We actually had to
get the pose.
because you can only get into it. It wasn't open to the public. They were having the RFID security SW something expo, and so to get in there, I had to put the company I work for's address in there and everything. So I was coming there as a representative. Me and this brother.
Like that.
Yeah, we were supplying. Yeah, bro. We gotta find that
Spy
video.
out the city.
So then when we went in there, we were just walking around like, we weren't the best James Bond, but we were walking around in our suits, and then we started talking to her, and they were actually talking to us like we were gonna buy some product or something. And that's when we learned, okay, the reason they've got the biometrics is because the RFID and the biometric together is like a two-factor system. So you got the biometric that's gonna be on the chip. So when you scan your chip, right, no one can use your chip because your face will be scanned and it will have to match the information that's on the chip, which is basically what I had to do on the phone. It scanned the phone, it looked at the picture, scanned the phone to get the digital version of it as well, so they're both correct. Then it's told me to scan my face. So once it can scan my face, it knows that I'm who's on the chip, right? Now check this out. This is gonna get even more spooky. Integration of systems. So when you go back onto the website, because that's on the app, you go back onto the website to complete the application, it said to me, do you want to use the old picture? Has the old picture expired, or do you want to use a new picture? And I'm like, well, that old picture was like 20 years ago. Man's looking like a stripling. Yeah? Man's looking spooky in that, yeah? Soft. Socket. Yeah? So I said, oh, let me do a new picture. So when I went to the next screen, it said, would you like to use a picture that's on your passport? Thinking, what?
So all the times you passport.
No, they've got access to the original, because when you originally, that's what's on the biometric. So when they've got that on the system, but it's on the passport system. So that means now all these systems are interoperable, because it literally pulled up the original photo that I gave them for the passport and put it on my new driver's license. That wasn't from the app. That's them going into the actual passport system. So that shows you that all these systems now are all connected now. So you'll be able to just put the picture from one thing to another.
And
One ID.
And that's what's what you call in the UK. What do you call it? When I speak to my immigrant friends, they used to they used to give biometric residence permits, right? Physical cards, right? But then basically what the new system is, it's all e-visas now, right? And then basically what they do is that regardless of what passport you do have, they'll just put your British legality, if you will, and then connect it up to your foreign passport or whatever, so you can just come into the country. You no longer have to give other bits of information. You'll be like, okay, cool. You already have this much time to stay in the country, right? And there's another thing. It's like the people get it mistaken. It's like the chip doesn't need to store literally everything, as we've just an example you just gave, right? Once they know the certain identifying numbers, they'll be like, okay, cool, this is the same as that individual. So then that number, once again, use the example of Estonia, they all have digital ID. And that's connected to your tax account, your health records, your this, your that. And as long as you have that one number, you can access that system.
And that's why they're building so many databases, man. Because they just use access them, you know?
And that's why Palantir is the system of Palantir is so important, because I'm not a tech guy. We got our resident tech guy, but from what I've understood, big reason why you got fraud. And I'm talking about fraud that the everyday man are doing. We know that the organized fraud that will happen anyway, but the everyday man, say like there's man that's getting like this benefit twice and all this type of stuff. The reason they were able to pull off that is because HMRC has their system. The benefits have their system. The systems don't communicate. They're separate. They don't communicate. So what you're doing over here, they don't know. The left hand don't know what the right hand's doing, which is why they come up with the universal credit to put all those benefits in one system, so that you can't claim for benefits and the man don't know that you're claiming for the benefits. And then so now HMRC can be linked into your everything. So now you can't really do fraud the way it was before, because the systems communicate with each other. So it will flag up. Like
now they can,
now they can, because they're all
money you got in your bank.
because even all the banks never used to be interoperable. Now they are. That's why you could go into your banking app and you can actually use one app and go and see the account status of all your different credit cards, bank apps, all in one. That's interoperability. Now, Palantir is all about all of the data systems being able to come into one system. You know,
Because what that allow, and that's
so you can't have double identities and shit like that. Yeah, go on.
and that's why what you call it? Last week we were speaking about why having AI on your phone is that last kind of bit in terms of our personal lives, right? Because the AI is sitting on top of different systems that don't actually naturally speak to each other, right? And that's what Palantir is doing. The same way, like for instance, in the new Google update, Android update, they're basically saying that you might be filling in what you call it, a form that requires your passport number, right? And then it'll be like, oh, passport number. Well, you've uploaded a picture of your passport to Google Photos, so therefore, like, do you want me to use these details? And at first, you're like, well, that's awesome. But then what really that's telling you is like, yeah, we're now pulling in all of this information from all of these different systems to put it all there, to put it all on you.
I got you. Because see, Brothers was prudent, right? There's a key word that breaks down everything the brother just said. It's called interoperability. Now, I remember when that became a talking point, because every time you'd watch one of these expos, Brad Garland houses, they'd be talking about it's a buzzword that became pushed through the entire system. Everything's all about a system being able to work with another system, right? Now, I'm going to show you. It says here, interoperability first became a widespread tech buzzword in the late 2010s to the early 2020s, while the concept, the ability of disparate, am I pronouncing it?
Disparate, that sounds right.
Disparate computer systems, networks, or devices to communicate and exchange data.
It's like just like different, maybe not talking to each other and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it says. Because from what I understand, I'm sure the tech bro can break it down properly, but when you build these different systems, there's different languages and all that, so they just can't communicate together.
And not only that, it's like you always speak about it, like you always speak about you laugh. You always speak about it about why certain companies, well, schools and companies all use Microsoft, right? because you get certain of these contracts that will be old as hell. So what you see in a lot of government institutions is they use software that is antiquated as fuck, right? To the point where it's so if you're building modern software, you may have something that's referred to as it's referred to as an API, which is basically you can speak to my system by these sets of rules and URLs that I give you, right? However, this older system where because they've got these long ass contracts, the staff don't want to move on to anything else. It's very hard to then connect that system into something modern, unless you got AIs that sit on top of different systems, are then able to be like, okay, cool. We don't even need to export the information in the same way. We can just take a screenshot of this page, take the information we need, put it into this other bit of information. That's a big thing that you're seeing throughout a government at the moment, right? That's what you're seeing, because this is what
So you can see all.
because you
That
can
means
see
you can eventually having a one AI to rule them all.
exactly.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
kind of reminds. I don't. I'm bad at names for movies now. But was it Eagle Eye? One of them ones where everywhere he went, like he's been tracked by everything.
Oh, you're talking about the Will Smith one? Enemy of the State.
Nah, it's
Nah.
the Eagle Eye. It was with a Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Eagle Eye.
That film. Where basically after a while, everywhere he went, it's
Yeah.
followed by everything. The
Yeah.
damn light,
Because it could tap into
You know,
every system.
you know.
You know. So it says has
Person's
been a
car switching on
foundational
him. Yeah.
engineering goal since the military in the 1970s and 80s. Its shift into a mainstream industry buzzword was driven by two major waves: the big tech app economy clash and the digital health and SaaS explosion. So basically, it's a new world order
Okay,
push.
so I say a SaaS software as a service.
So that's because in order to have this system where you can control everything, you need to be able to see everything and communicate with everything. And so therefore everything needs to be interoperable. And that's why all the UK public and private systems are becoming interoperable. Same thing in the US.
and there's a big digitization push at the moment of like really old records. So you look at like for instance, one of the issues that you have with London is London's a really old city. So building anything in London is actually quite difficult. Apparently, that's one of the issues that they had building the most recent tube network that we have here, which because it was Elizabeth line, because they're all like digging, and then I was like, there's not supposed to be a tunnel here. Why the hell is there a tunnel here? Right. Yeah, exactly. But then what they're doing now is this big push to digitize everything, and once again, that makes the whole all of the different systems. That's just that side of things. Right. Then you've got health records, you've got birth and death records, you've got all of this information that they want because it all helps feed the beast, basically. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I have a quick one. This is Jeremiah 5:6. Wherefore a lion at the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. No, which just explaining what we're talking about, which is just basically once people are chipped, it will just link completely to everything.
All they need is the
they've
internet.
got.
And that's one of the reasons why I know man's want to go into the 5G and 5G would turn you into an alien or whatever. But ultimately, the reason they need the internet to be ubiquitous because they need everything to be connected through the internet. And that's the reason why they have the mobile phone networks everywhere and Starlink. And then the reason 5G is better than 4G is literally it's low latency. So it allows for you gamers out there, you know what latency is, and brothers that be gaming. Real time. If you got a high latency connection, that's when you start, man's just you're getting whacked. You know, you play Call of Duty back in the day and your connections, bro, man's just slapping you off. And you're like, yo, by the time you've seen, man, because they're low latency, they've seen you in real time. You're got a lag. So your head top's gone.
Like to combo, you said real time, and I remember asking recently the Google, I was like, what's this making tax digital thing, right? Because it's like, from our perspective, it's already digital, but there's a new initiative called Making Tax Digital in the UK, which the whole point of it is to have real time understanding of how much tax is supposed to be paid.
Real time. Real time is another buzzword. So in order for things to happen in real time, you have to have the internet connectivity to get the information in real time. For Google to be able to tell you Westfield, how many people are in Westfield right now, at this second, they need that 5G, they need that 6G, need that broadband 6 connection that just bam, like, you know what I'm saying? It can't be lagging by 2-3 seconds because now the information's off. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons. So everything you have starts connecting. So now the AI can have connection to the CCTV, your Ring doorbell. Your Ring doorbell is connected to the internet in your yard. You know what I'm saying? That's why you could access what's happening in your yard from your phone in real time.
And that's why when certain crimes happen,
Yep.
the police will go to houses
And they'll get all the Ring doorbells and they'll see your goofy self driving.
Bro, it's actually it's like a movie scene. Like it's literally like a movie scene. Because I remember one that probably saw a famous one. This nigga hopped the garden fence, running down the block, and we followed the whole way. You see him in the garden, you see him hiding under the car. And
But you
shit.
see what? This is the difference,
It's like
right?
a movie, bro.
Before, when they started bringing in this technology, because they got other stuff, they got things. Yeah, I watch a lot of these crime programs. I was actually speaking to about Yahweh about this yesterday. They've got certain cities, right? They've got microphones in the lamppost.
Yes.
So if you butt off a shot, it can actually triangulate where the shot happened in the area, and they've used it. So you know where they'll be like, but you said you. Because what I was watching one where the guy said he fired some shots, but he weren't in that area, and the man's like, bro, he was in that area. This is where you fired the shot because we know the only shots fired that night was in this particular place, and that's how they got him. Like, so it's like they got that. They got the Ring doorbells, people's CCTVs, and all that. Your phone, because for some reason these guys always walk with their phone when they're going and doing drillings. That's automatically clocking your location. Even if your location services is off, they can triangulate where you are based upon the
Gonna go into it.
as I say, it's not really on.
Can I read one?
It's a lot.
Right, brother.
No, because they something really.
Activated. Man, super tech man, he's activated.
Well, you know, you're turning
I'm about to get some jargon.
Cyborg. This is Psalm 64 and 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inner thought and every one of them, and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded.
And like we said, this ain't nothing. Listen, 1984, you watched that program. Man was in his yard with a CCTV camera watching it. This is not something that's happened by accident or not willy-nilly. This has definitely been done on purpose through the private and public theater. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like I was gonna say, because one of the reasons I was as well was thinking, I'm speaking right now, I was thinking, so that's why they only allowed Apple and Google software to be the primary things in operating systems and phones, right? Because basically what happens when you have, how does Find My iPhone work, or how does the Apple tag work, right? It works because there's enough people with iPhones, there are enough people with Androids, that what you're actually creating is a mesh network. So right now we're all in a mini network together because we're all Android, right? So now if I'm coming with my phone, even if my phone is off, with passive Bluetooth and stuff like that, it's able to be like, okay, it could be around about here. And that's ultimately how Find My iPhone and all of that sort of, and the Apple tag kind of works. It's working on that passive Bluetooth, passive a mesh network.
Even when you're the mobile connect, because the thing was saying that they can triangulate where you are on your phone based upon the pings of the different masks as well. So they could do that. So they was like, yeah, but your phone was in this. One guy he killed this girl, tried lying and saying he didn't go that way. It was like, oh, we picked your phone up, going down on this particular mask, so you weren't over here.
Exactly.
The man had his phone on you. And even if you leave your phone there, like I said, they could catch you leaving your house without your phone and follow you all the way to where you did the murder. So people didn't realize that, and they started getting caught. Now, think of it, with AI now, this is the power of AI. Before, that's why it used to take a man like 3-4 years for the police to come back, and then one day you just get the knock on that door, because it took the police a while to subpoena and get all this information, put it together, look through the damn CCTV, find the time where you were, and all that stuff. It takes a lot of work, right? So that's why a lot of times it's you watch these programs. It's like a year and a half, 2 years later, man's knocking on the door. It's like, yeah, you're under arrest. I was like, what? Yeah, because it took them all that time to get all the information and everything lined up. Now the power of AI now is like you're saying, AI can just look for your number or look, and then just look
Know
through
your
all the
biometrics,
data, just
yeah.
pop, and then man's got all the information there, which would have took bare man time. They could just subpoena it electronically and catch it.
And that's the thing, because like I forgot where we was saying at camp, or maybe I watched a video where it's like there's certain times when the official story given by government, or like I think it might have been with the Luigi Mangione, whatever, and like it was like the information that they came, well, assuming it's real, the information that they came out with was like, oh yeah, we got him by this and that means. And what some of the people were saying online was like, oh, okay, that's cap, full cap. Basically, they use means that they're not allowed to really be speaking about. Now, what's interesting, Ring Doorbell, I believe that's Amazon Web Services in the back end. Now, there's a whole big thing called data sovereignty. So right now, the EU, there's some governments that are like, look, man, we don't want to use Amazon Web Services for certain things because basically, because the US government has access to Amazon Web Services. Now, if you're Ring Doorbell,
Which means the British company because of Five Eyes.
yeah, exactly.
Which means they all have
Exactly.
because Five Eyes they're allowed to share all that information.
Yeah.
So basically, they're all watching everything.
They're all watching everything. And that's the thing, is like they don't, because they may be like, oh yeah, we went to the neighbors and they gave us this footage. But they don't actually need to go because they'll be able to be like, yo, Amazon, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. It's there, give us this data.
They only need to do that a lot of time for the case.
Yeah.
But they'll know, but it's like, but we need to do it legitly.
Yeah.
So that the case can go through the courts. But they can access it if they want, like the brother was saying. Like your phones, man. They can access everything in your phone.
Crazy.
Your deleted messages ain't deleted. That's another way they get people all the time.
Yeah.
People think when they delete the message on their phone, it's gone forever. It's not. The police have the program that they can take your phone, subpoena it, plug it in, and everything you deleted, all them kiddie pictures that you had, it's happened all the time. Man's like, all the porn, the wrong shit that you shouldn't have on there that you tried deleting, this all comes straight back up.
Bro, I was even saying to the brother, bro, one time I saw one lawyer, one private detective, whatever, speaking about how some people might leave their phone home for a crime and they're found that like nearby the scene, and it adds to the
Meditation.
or
You did it on purpose.
so it's like take your phone and leave your phone. If you take your phone, charge it. If you don't take your phone,
Man might forget to leave your watch on.
yeah. It's like it's fucked. Or they might be wearing their fucking Google glasses.
So now that's why they want to put the chip inside you, because now the chip inside you is kind of like walking with your phone everywhere, because it will be interacting with everything. So
Which explains why you get that the grievous sore, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine everywhere going to get pinged off like radiation, bro.
and
Fucking hell, bro.
a good film, if you could ever watch it, it's called Impostor with an OR. That's a good film because they show you the chip in that film, and when you put he had to dig the chip out and he stuck it in someone's pocket. And as he was walking down the road, they had like, you know, on London now they got them advertising board things. It's like a phone, it's the internet and advertising board. They have them in China too. Because you know in China your face comes up when you jaywalk and they shame you straight away in real time. Well, in that, as he's walking past with a chip, his face was popping up on there.
Yeah.
So that means the cameras were clocking your chip and checking your biometrics, innit?
Yeah.
So
Like, can I get this a bit of information? In fact, now read the precepts. I'll come after. So it's like,
Ezekiel 38:3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
yeah, they got the powers of surveillance they have. It's
another
next
level.
level, man. But because they're trying to be like the Most High, they're trying to be like the angels, man.
Yeah.
They're not on the level of the Most High, but they're trying to be. Obviously, their thing's Bandulu. Yeah, because if you're in the middle of the jungle somewhere, that man don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? But that's why they want to keep people to what? The cities. You know what I'm saying? Because the cities is their network, whereas the Most High's network is everywhere. You could be in the depths of the ocean. The Most High's got you on the surveillance.
I just found something out earlier on today. So in China you've got this certain ID. That ID allows you to get access to healthcare and stuff like that, heavily subsidized. But what I didn't know is that it only works in your province, like to get the freebie. So that's why
Geofencing.
geofencing, right? But basically, what's happened is they've removed that restriction just recently. I was like, oh, immediately the first thing that I thought of is that's basically their way of moving people from small towns, like you're saying, into these bigger cities where it's easy because it's easier for everyone to just be here and you've got all of the infra there to track them than got 10 man in the village somewhere that you now have to care
And
about.
then if you go outside of the zone, there's a new film they got. It's cool. And it's like a comedy. And a guy's fighting like an AI from being built. It's a new thing. What's it called? I don't know if you've seen the adverts for it. It's a new thing now. It was all right. It was a fun film. But in the film, in the future, this AI basically has got everyone hooked up to the metaverse, you know, just living a lie, right? Like the Matrix, yeah. And then his mom didn't want to be a part of that. So she escaped and she was out in the woods. And what founded them in the end was a drone. So that's why they want the satellites and the drones, because the drones can then peruse. And they show you that in a lot of movies. There's a Marvel movie like that. Yeah, this one. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, it's a right film. It's quite fun. In the movie Babylon AD, people trying to cross the border, it was drones that was out there attacking them. It weren't soldiers. They're just going to have the drones out there. So you might escape to the woods. They're going to send the drones out there and the drones will find you. You know, your heat signature out there, you know, with your fire on.
And I think this might actually go into exactly that, because another thing that they do in terms of spying on people, right, is it's crazy the amount of software that Esau has, right, in terms of tracking and observing people, right? It's actually insane.
It's when I get it, keep speaking. I'll get it.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, sure.
Just put my shirt inside my bag. And my hat.
But yeah, it says basically, so yeah, it says, is someone's gait, i.e. the person, the way they walk, a biometric marker? So one of the things that your phone is constantly doing, because it's got what's called a gyrometer, is it's actually measuring the way you walk, right? It's observing the way you walk, right? Yeah. So it says, yeah. Says yes, a person's walking pattern is considered a biometric marker. More specifically, gait is behavioral. Says more specifically, gait is a behavioral biometric similar to typing rhythm or voice patterns rather than the physical biometric marker like fingerprints or iris scans. Researchers and companies use gait analysis for identifying or verifying people at a distance. Like you're saying, it may be a heat drone.
Oh, you could do that.
Say again.
You could do it. Sometimes
It's
you
true.
can tell people by the way they walk.
Yeah, there'll be times I was like, yeah, okay, I can see this bro's got a very particular gait, right? But they say if you've got a drone and it can't necessarily see who it is, but it knows your gait pattern, the way you walk, right? It's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's my man, right? Yeah. That's it. It says security and surveillance systems, medical diagnosis and rehab, sports performance analysis. Gait can be measured using video cameras, motion sensors, smartphones, and wearables, right? It says, and one reason gait biometrics are interesting is that they can sometimes identify someone even when their face is obscure, they're far away, or they're not cooperating, right? And that's just it. It's like he's got so many different markers that people think that they're going to be able, when the tyranny comes, they're going to be able to put on the mark. What do they get people used to? And that's one of the things that they actually said is a lot of the thing with the whole mask was to help train a lot of these video stuff to be able to see and unmask you, right? So what was it? It was the iPhone. He was able to use Face ID with a mask on after a while, right? Spooky. I believe China was the first one to start bringing that sort of stuff out, right? So basically, it's like there's nowhere to hide, right? And that's why ultimately we gonna need the Most High, right? Because it actually is not God. Yeah, the true God.
It's not. Listen, I know we're blowing Esau's horn a little bit, but he's still Bandud. Yeah. This thing is still the Temu thing. Yeah, if the Lord's thing is different. You know, even you got Elon Musk talking about Jesus like level, bro. Your thing is Bandulu. It will never be anywhere near the level of the Most High. Mm-hmm. The Most High has every man's hair on his head counted. What are you talking about, man? talking about? Stop it, but man said man healing someone. Well, you don't know nothing about healing. The Lord healed a man that never walked before. And man got up
jumped up,
and moved, bro. Meaning he had complete atrophy.
yeah,
So
exactly.
the Lord didn't just allow him to be able to walk, fix his nerves. He gave man strength in his muscles. Man had a full gym workout,
Yeah.
a full 2 years physiotherapy
Yeah,
the Lord
yeah,
gave man
yeah,
in an
yeah.
instant. Man. Behave yourself.
Exactly. Downloaded the way to walk. Because you see man that ain't there doing all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
No.
Hey, cause the Lord can do that.
Exactly.
The Lord can down like Matrix.
Yeah.
Because remember when we build the ark, the Lord put the spirit on certain man to develop certain skills in order to build the ark.
Yeah.
So the Lord can. Well, how did we get language in the first place?
Yeah.
Read it. It's in the scriptures. The Lord downloaded language into man.
Yeah.
He's the one that gave us the Hebrew.
Yeah. But you know, it's like you may be getting into something, right? And you're learning it, and then maybe you're not getting that at first, but then somehow the Lord one day just clicks, and then it makes sense.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
So the Lord can download information into your brain, man. Like it's the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know Kung Fu.
Or is it what you call it, over the air updates? Like,
Yeah. Upgrade.
That's it.
Yeah. The Lord is on a different level to Esau. Esau's thing is Bandula. I'm not having it. Yeah, we're gonna say, okay, Esau could do this and do that, but we always gonna show you that what the Most High is infinitely on a different level to Esau. Infinite. The chariots are infinitely more than anything Esau's created.
Huh?
Yahweh Shai's miracles. Yahweh Shai was actually, if you could turn water into wine, man, do you know what that is molecularly? How mad
That's
that?
crazy.
That means he literally just broke all the atoms down. About radiation, by the way, you basically broke all the because what's H2O? You got a few trace minerals. Water is a few trace minerals, right? And mainly hydrogen and oxygen. Wine has got all kind of complex compounds in there.
That's it.
Bro, next level, bro. Like Esau can't do that. Do that, Esau. Let's see if you could get some technology and turn water into wine without radiating. Man, drink that. It'll be red. Next thing you know, you turn into Homelander or something. Like man will be mutated for life. Or your kids will come out with 8 arms, moving like Goro, bro. Your kids will come out looking like Goro, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? We know the 3. Goro had the 3, but a thumb. He had a thumb and two fingers, didn't he? Man's in the UFC fighting because he drank some of this bullshit. This Bandulu wine that Esau said he made. What are you talking about? The Lord was walking on water, silencing the storm with a word. Bro. What are you talking about? Come on. Don't ever try and compare yourself to the Most High. Like that is arrogance, bro. You know what I mean? That's like me comparing myself to. There's nothing. Yeah. There's no comparison to the comparison. There's no way you can compare a man to the Most High, man. That's insanity.
Come on, please, this is Sirach 23:19. He's still got his local, piece of TV, but most times got his. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men. I know if not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men.
Meaning, because what hides a man? Darkness. So when it's saying his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, meaning there's nowhere to hide. There's no darkness. There's no cloak that you could put on yourself from the eyes of the Lord, man. There's none. Like the Lord's surveillance is already 100%. Your thing is Bandulu. Your thing can break. Your team can have system errors, man. Move out of here. Move out of here with your technology.
Oh, because the scripture says time and chance happeneth to all men. You know, anything, if the Lord wants it, anything can happen at any time. You know, when you look back at the what was it with the nuclear stuff, right? There were several occasions where people are like, look, man, they started doing a countdown. Started doing a countdown.
The Lord was dealing with lasers. Scripture tell you the Lord, the finger of God came and ripped on the tablet.
Precision.
What are you talking about, man? The Lord created the science that you're trying to figure out. The Lord don't do research. He created the science. He manifests the rules that you have to play by. Even witchcraft, the Lord made that. You're still playing according to his rule. How do we know that? It's his rule, and he could turn it off and on. He got the override. You think witchcraft is the override? It's not. The Most High is the one with the override to the Matrix. Yahweh Shai had the overrides, man. He controlled reality. Reality is what he said it was. The scripture says he was moving through people, man. Bro, the scripture says he was doing psyops, bro. The Lord was doing psyops because remember, them man didn't recognize him. So that means the Lord went into man's optical nerves, yeah, and had man seeing visions, bro.
Yeah. And then he was there like, so, you know, what was that? You know, what's going on? What was happening there? I don't know if he's gonna come back.
Bro, the Lord had the spirit to Google. You're talking about Google, my database. You have to put information into a database. Lies can be in that database. Corruption can be in that database. The Lord's got the actual spiritual Google. He tapped into it. Yeah, you've had 7 husbands. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, bro, I know. Oh, what about the other bro? Yeah, you were sleeping under a tree. I'm sure that am I remembering it correctly?
Yeah. I think you remembered you sleeping on the tree. I mean, it's
What?
Israel.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's get that. Like, what you talking about? We're talking about surveillance. What? Man said, yeah, you was under a tree. The Lord did a quick. That's on my eagle eye.
Can I grab this real quick while
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking? The 1 Samuel 2 and 3. It says, there is none holy as Yahweh, but there is none beside thee. Neither is there any rock like our power. Taught no more exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For Yahweh is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
Yeah, man. What are you talking about? The Most High is the most holy, man. You can't put nobody with the Most High. You can't even begin to comprehend. Your brain would explode if you could comprehend 1% of the Most High. Your brain will your physical brain can't comprehend the Most High to a degree. It's got to be dumbed down and simplified for you. Our head hurts even thinking about something not having a beginning or end.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Our brains can't even because we've been in this construct here
Yeah.
that you just have to hear it and be like, charge.
Yeah,
Like,
but you know, that's
yeah, well, it is. You can't think about it for too long.
Yeah.
The more you think about it, you start short circuiting.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like? And you start getting your head starts hurting.
I was gonna say, I remember early doors after the Lord, shortly after the Lord brought myself and brother Shakar in, right? We was just thinking about he is. And it was just
Simple.
like but it was like when you start, oh, that means is, and then you start. We started to think about like he is. It's everything, right? And it's like you start really think, and after a point, I was like, bro, let's just charge it.
Your brain ain't ready for that, man. To comprehend
Can I
the
grab
Most High,
this
man.
as well, real quick? It says Isaiah 55 and 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
The Lord bless us with a certain amount of understanding. That's why you have to just hold on to that. You can't go above that understanding. You can't try and make yourself size with the Most High. Like, that's arrogance, man. Why would you even think you could do that? Can a toddler be size with me? You could explain certain things to a toddler, yeah? For brothers that's got children, you know what I'm talking about. You try and explain, but more time, sometimes you just got to be like, don't worry about it. Right? Because man's brain isn't even flipping developed to the point where you can understand these concepts. But Esau will chop your rod off, though. You don't even truly understand the concept of male and female. You don't understand it to a degree.
Yeah, you think you can be a dinosaur. Like you see them talk, I want to be a dinosaur.
The first time a child calls you daddy, they don't even understand what that means.
Yeah.
They just say it like.
They
You
know
have
they
to
know
grow
they need to say it.
Yeah, they already understand that. Their brain's not. So it's like trying to size. You know, you can never size a toddler with your brain. Bare time, you just got to brush them off and give them some oversimplified thing because trying to explain it is a futile adventure. Their brain needs. So how much more say the Most High? Come on.
Even one that I found out, apparently children very young children don't even understand the concept of like negation, negative. So I sometimes might tell a child, don't do that. Allegedly, all they hear is do that. They don't understand the concept of don't, which is why sometimes they say it's better to, instead of saying don't do that, you tell them what you want them to do. Because that their mind can process. So there's a point.
Well, that's why the law says. But I'm just keeping it real, bro. The arrogance of Esau to think that he can come up against what we know the Most High is, who we know the Most High is insanity. It's arrogance to the next level. You shouldn't even be thinking along them lines. You should just charge it. Listen, I'm a man, charge it. Don't try and witchcraft your way into godhood or technology your way into godhood. That's arrogance, man. What are you gonna invent to size you with the Most High? What kind of crazy Hollywood film is this? This man's insane, man. And you're gonna be looked at for the rest of eternity. All peoples are gonna look back at your story and say, this was a madman on earth. This man was insane. He actually thought that through witchcraft and technology, he could overturn the word of the Most High. There's nothing more impossible. Impossible.
Man.
Impossible.
Well, imagine telling that to the children that are born to us. It's mad. They're gonna be like, what?
No, just saying it sounds dumb. It sounds dumb, and it is dumb. That's why the scripture call you a fool. As smart as you think you are with your tech and all that, only a fool would come up against God. It doesn't make sense. Just anyway, let's see. It's foolishness.
It's Isaiah 45 verse 9. The subtitle is The Most High Supreme Power. It says, woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherd of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou? Or thy work, he have no hands?
Yeah, so man thinks he heard the Lord say, yo, Jacob, bless. And he's like, okay, if I get the eye of Newt, bro, like, brother, I beg you, like, stop it, bro, charge it. You should have just, if I just get the eye of Newt, yeah, and if I wait till the sun is at 90 degrees, and then 666, and then if I could, yeah, and then I'll just spill a little blood here, and bro,
And stir it.
then I can be the
And
one. No,
seasoning.
bro, it don't work. It's not gonna work. The New World Order, it ain't gonna happen, bro. There's not enough witchcraft. It doesn't work like that. It can't work like that. There's no witchcraft that can break the word of the Most High.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Egypt, it was already proven in Egypt, and that man had the powers. You man are looking. The worst thing about it is Esau is going back like Indiana Jones and finding the scrolls and getting all the talismans. Bro, the man that already got broke up,
Exactly.
and you're trying to run with their style.
No, that's a good point, though. Like, imagine you're looking for their old relics and idols they used for the same spell that didn't work then.
Yeah, that sounds like not to take it back to football again. Like Amarim, Amarim was like, I'm not going to change my style.
Bro, you can't work. It's already been really proven. It's just gonna be even more proven that witchcraft don't work with the Most High.
The scripture says it, doesn't it? The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
You think they didn't have witchcraft with the flood? They died.
Well, in the video we was doing in the week, what you call it, information you brought out about how a lot of the basic, those different plagues that Egypt was smitten with was an affront. Yeah, it was an affront, a mocking to their gods, right? If you've got a god of light, but in darkness, that's like, yo, where's
Because, like we say, that witchcraft works, but it only works when the Lord allows it to work. That's the thing.
Yeah. The Lord's letting
that happen. Because if the Lord wanted to, you subscribe. You know them ones where you go to use Spotify, yeah? You're like, what's going on, bro? It's got ads. Oh, the subscription. I didn't pay. My payment bounced the day before. The payment's bounced, brother. Like, it's over.
Elijah and the prophets of Baal.
Bro, it happens all the time. You know how many of these gunmen, bro? We're not ignorant to witchcraft. We're not saying it's not real.
That's real. Definitely.
Because man will have a police scene or 3-4 of them. Like, it's all kind of spookiness is going on. Yeah. But then one day, man just get his head cut.
Yeah.
But why? He was getting the oil. He had the guard ring. He was making the sacrifices. So why did his head top get taken? Because the scripture says, man, the Lord. Can we get that as a powerful scripture? Deuteronomy 32 and 39.
Yes.
When you need to get got, yeah, the witchcraft can't help you on that day. You never cheated them. It was the Lord allowed you to use witchcraft because He wanted you to survive. It's just like if you go on a trip here and you pray to some idol and you make it across on that trip here, the Lord allowed you to make it across. You think it was the idol. Okay, that's your deception. But really, it's the Lord, because if the Lord wanted that shit to sink here, there weren't no idol that was going to help you, man. You could have Poseidon on speed dial. Poseidon could have been your bestie. Your day one. Cooked. You're drowning, bro.
Sort of Jonah. Same thing in the ocean. When the boat was pushed to and fro, that's the boat.
Hey, that man said, yo, that God must be the God of the hills. Let's fight him in the valleys, man. Because that's how the heathens fought in the ancient world. This is why there were many idols, because the idols were really representative of certain areas or aspects of nature. When you really break up the esoteric roots, it's really carnality. So that's why, like we always say, the phallus and the vagina, there's idols attached to that. You know what I'm saying? The sun, the wind, storms, the trees, water. These are real things in the world, but it'll actually be a particular idol and a god being over that. You know, like the sun, because these planets have energies and things like that, but they're not God. But they're attributing these things to have that power, right? And then, but the Lord, the point is, the Most High is the God over all. It's all His creation, so He controls the sun.
It's like makes think of the piece that what about worship the creature.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon. We can get that, right? So they're worshiping these aspects, so they'll have a God of the hills. So, if I ward him, my God is the God of the hills. So if I fight man in the hills, I'll win, bro. Man got mad because the Most High is the God over all. There ain't no hills, there ain't no valleys with the Most High. In the water, man will get dashed away at sea. Man will get dashed away in the air. It don't matter. Man get dashed away in the metaverse. If you want to war in the metaverse, you get dashed away in there too, bro. The Lord is the God of the metaverse. How about that? Because if the Lord wants you, you go into the metaverse and the Most High will have demons in there, bro. Most High will trap you in that metaverse, bro. Have you catching hell in there if you wanted to.
Oh man, you know, because you know what it is. One thing that bloody scares me, man. Because you was talking about that made me think of anesthetic. The Most High can make anesthetic fail.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like you're asleep, you can't move, but you're awake. So it's like you're completely conscious, right? And basically, what the guy was saying is like, yeah. What the guy was saying is like, yeah, and like if doctors think you're asleep, they ain't being gentle.
Yeah, it's cutting you up.
It's cutting you up, bro. And
So,
when I heard that, I
come out
was
there
like,
Yes.
bro.
That's a whole new brand, bro.
Yo,
PTSD you're gonna get, man.
yeah, that's
Gonna be
that thing.
shivering.
After it wears off, you just go and blow your brains out.
Bro, you can't even make toast and put butter on your bread just to see in the knife, man. PTSD, man. Anyway.
This is Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there's no God with me. I kill and I make alive.
I kill and I make alive. So anytime anyone deaded off, whether it be on the left or the right, it was in fact, there's a scripture where the Lord said He sent evil angels amongst them. The Lord can use send demons after demons, man. Have you get washed up? Yeah.
I can read that.
So the Lord, anytime anyone dies, it's ultimately it's in the power of the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this is Psalms 78 and 49. He casts upon them the fierceness of His anger, wrath, indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. You know, so if you read that song, it's referring to Egypt. You know what I mean? So there's angels on the right and the left. Really, all of them are righteous anyway.
Yeah,
the Lord's will.
there's angels that they specialize in and they show you that certain things are death angels. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's angels because it tells you that they're on earth waiting. That's for work to do.
Shall be upon earth when need is.
Yeah, and they orchestrate the thing to the perfection.
Yeah,
Wait for it.
because the stories of death we hear, you're like, bro, that was a long chain.
Oh, bro.
Like, I'll give you an example. Yeah, my old place I used to work. Right, there was a lady that had just been in the country not too long ago, like 2-3 weeks. So first week for working, a piece of like industrial material that someone was working on the next day slipped off. You do. Took her head off. Now, she died, bro. She died. She'd only be working.
It's sad, bro.
She'd only be working there a week.
Yeah,
And just came to UK, bro.
bro. That's why sometimes, a spiritual person, be patient, man, because the Lord is working for you in the algorithm, bro. but this is a simulation. So it's like, oh shit, I forgot my key. Man, go back in the house to get your keys. That was the Lord in a simulation, because if he was 5 seconds earlier, something else could have happened.
Yeah.
Look how death missed his ass.
Yeah.
It could be like that.
There's a story, and it's always got me, man. And this one was just like, yo. So basically, there was a lady. She was a childminder. She was pushing this young toddler right in the pram. Bruh. Now, 5 days before that, there was road work. A man thought he was drilling what he thought was an old a rail track. This was a counterweight to what do you call it? A street light. 5 days later, once again, with the pram, straight. The thing is, hit right in the right place to take the child out. Dead.
But then you can have situations where death just missed his ass.
Yeah, because that's like
Well, actually,
5 days
you know
before.
what? That actually happened because when I was in my yard, I think it's my oldest daughter. She was only like, what's my oldest daughter? Might be my youngest one. She was only like, yeah, he's so big. You know, I had this big bump. You know, you get with the wardrobe with the mirror. So it's like a sliding door with a big mirror, so they're heavy. A man had it in the yard, leaned, yeah. She was in the room playing because we were moving, but all I heard was just blah. And I just went in there, and she was in the room, and the thing was just flat on the floor, bro. I was like, oh, hey, the spirit, like, because if she was there, bro.
Yeah.
But guess what? Like, I don't even get spooky, but she could have been there since the angels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never know, bro.
So everything's in the. That's why you have to let life take its path, and don't take nothing for granted, man.
Yeah.
Just take it as the Lord gave it to you, because yeah, you were late to work that day. Like I'm saying, that woman, what if she was late to work that day? She might not have lost her head top. And some man that's rushing is rushing to their death. Then you worried about man that's cutting you up in. Don't worry about no one cutting you up in. Let man cut. I always say to my woman, like, listen, my man's rushing. He don't even know what he's rushing to. How many men rush, and then man might rush to his own death because the angel's getting him to getting him. You know, like in basketball, get to your spot. The angel's getting him to the spot.
His final destination.
His final destination. So he's running to his final destination, and he don't know that. Weaving in and out of traffic because he got a date with death. He don't know.
that thing you're talking about furniture, and that's a real thing, which is why think there's don't put law, but I know IKEA, whenever they sell stuff now, there's always a bit where it's like, yeah, this is how you stick it to the wall. If you get part of like gas safety now, you get like an engineer to cut, do the gas, or to install your cooker, whatever. They always chain the cooker for that reason, because it's happened before. Certain mans have lost their children because the thing fell.
Yeah. That's it.
And that was it.
We've all been watching them horrid things in China.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like health and safety.
Non-existent, bro.
Yeah, but it gets like that, man.
Yeah. Jeremiah 10:3. Oh Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps.
There you go. So sometimes you see a man determined to go somewhere, you never know if it's till man's death. You know what I mean? You know how many times you heard about a gal that parents told them not to go somewhere and they went out, or not even, well, it happens to man too, but these youths in general, they don't go there, don't go to, a man's just hell bent. And they went there and they died.
Yeah. Oh,
And if they'd listened to their parents, they wouldn't even have been there.
what happened last year with that stampede in New Orleans? Remember there was another like
Oh, that gal, that
Yeah,
young
yeah,
girl,
yeah.
that she wasn't
That
meant to
young
be
girl.
there, but
her mother was on her, don't go.
Mm.
And then snuck out.
it was a date.
And she died. She died by a stampede or shooting?
Stampede.
Stampede, yeah.
And you know, an event happened, there was a reason that you didn't get to the event. I might say, oh shit, I was meant to be there. Even when they had that bombing in London that time, I was doing work experience. That central line, because it happened on the central line, that was my train. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the spirit had it where I wasn't on the train when man got dealt with.
Yeah, the
Spirit of the Lord.
similar thing with my mother. Similar thing with her. Like, that was her route to work. Yeah, that was her route
Yeah.
to work.
So it's all the Lord. It's all the Lord. And even if that man work witchcraft and they get saved, is really still the Lord. Because the Lord didn't want you to be healed. You wouldn't be healed. So you're just being deceived.
Yeah, and especially if you live in America, you might be thinking, yeah, whatever, but it's like, okay, just being saved than you.
There you go. Bro, there's men that's fighting to get into America because it's their destiny to get nuked. They've been through madness to get into America to be nuked. Obviously, there's some that's come for the deliverance, but there's also some like they've gone through hell to get to America
And then
just to get nuked.
and then in return, there's man that might get deported. Like,
Yeah.
Thinking it's the worst thing that's happened to them.
There'll be a day they just see TV. I got one. This is Proverbs 20:24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?
So even Esau's under that, and that's what he don't realize, that the Lord has really got you in a trick. He's really controlling you, and you're a puppet onto destruction. The Lord is puppeteering you to walk off a cliff. And while you're doing it, you think you're being clever. You think you're Mr. Clever Clocks. That's why he says he taketh the wise in his own craftiness. You think you're Mr. Clever Clocks. You're Mr. High IQ. When everything you're doing is leading to your own demise. That's how smart you are. That's why I said you're going to go down in history as a fool. Your whole storyline is going to be like, yeah, this guy was a fool. If he'd have just chilled, it'd have been all right. Like, but you had to do too much, and the Lord walked you every step of the way.
Psalm 7:15. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made.
There you go. Got finish off Deuteronomy 32. I don't think.
I could do Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal.
I wound and I heal. The Lord is in control of all those things. Whether you just bust your knee or whatever, the illness and all those things, ultimately it comes back to the Most High. Whether it happens or not, or whether you're healed or not. Yeah.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
So then why are you running to Esau for? And this is the issue. You're taking the mark, thinking the mark is going to exempt you, because that's what my man said. Oh, well, we got the technology Uri, Urav, or whatever that, you don't even deserve a name. In the kingdom, you ain't going to have a name. You're just going to be someone to be ridiculed and beaten and tortured for your arrogance. The great arrogance that you pushed in the earth. You boldly claim, oh, we got in the Old Testament, when the God of the Israelites was angry, he could send a flood, he could send a plague. But we got the technology now where we could stop that. So basically what they're saying is that we can overturn the wages of sin is death. We can make sin consequenceless. So guess what? Be wicked, that's fine. Abuse your body, we'll give you some new organs.
So
Abuse your body, we'll give you the technology to still live forever. That's what you're saying. Oh, we could have bare batty, man. Don't worry though, it ain't gonna flood because we got the technology to stop the flood. We can control the rain. You pussy, the Lord opened up. Listen, bro, that wasn't no little rain, you know. You think it was just a little normal rain thing. The Lord opened up, the scripture actually tells you, because there's water under the earth too. The Lord actually opened up the reservoirs that's under the earth, so water was gushing upwards, like fishes. There weren't no little thing that happened. This was terrible, bro.
Space rain.
Yeah.
Some damn heart. I don't want to hear about heart. Every time something happens, these men are pushing heart.
Yeah.
I'm tired of heart, man. What you gonna do?
What I was gonna say, it's like they couldn't even stop us getting the truth back.
Can't stop anything. But the idea is through his witchcraft is the technology, because that's what witchcraft is. If I have to break, I have to bacon. That's why you got to break down what witchcraft is. The Bible tells you. It's rolled in a bowl, innit? Like, probably got that bacon apple.
Yeah.
Apple bacon.
That's their favorite fruit.
And actually came out and wrapped bacon.
But well, even that one, I'm surprised you even brought that up. Like, bro, at the parade, you know that, that march for,
Yeah.
They had a group put bacon on themselves, and the crowd was entertained.
That's crazy.
What, he ain't seen that?
I ain't seen that, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
These Baconites, bro. No, that's why we dubbed them. They're Baconites.
bro.
Yeah.
But
Behold the Baconite.
yeah, but these are the people that rule the world.
The
You know, and
Baconite still
They're rebellious.
Yeah.
Well, and it's only so low IQ because if you ask them, so in the Bible, what does it say about eating? They'll be like, but we're Christian, Mike.
But
What
we're
does it say about eating? They won't know that it's actually in the scripture. You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So they just,
That's why when my guy made that joke, man, Rona, you know,
oh yeah, yeah. So you're a Christian.
yeah. Like Dean.
That was funny.
He said, that's right, man.
You're a Christian.
He's a Christian now.
Yeah, that was funny.
He's making a joke.
I ain't gonna lie, that shit was funny.
That was funny because he's right though.
What, there was a prank, I think it was in Sweden. They've got a big issue with immigrants as well. But it was a prank where basically what they did, frankly, they put the scriptures and they wrapped it in the Quran. And
Oh, yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
Quran says. And there were people like, oh yeah, this Quran is terrible. And the guy took it off.
It's the Bible. Yeah. So, as I said, Christianity is the operating system.
The operating system, that's funny.
It's just the operating system. They don't care what's in it. They
Another
just want power.
Unless
Yeah, I was gonna say about the yeah, so what you understand about witchcraft? What is witchcraft? Witchcraft is basically trying to jailbreak the universe to establish your will. That's the whole purpose of witchcraft. It's all about establishing your will. So you're jailbreaking, so you're using blood rituals, you're using inscriptions, you're using certain things in order to achieve your will. That's what talismans are for. You know, that when man want to get success, you do a ritual, they want a love potion. What is it? You want to exert your will on that person to make them love you. Perform that. That's what witchcraft is. It's exerting your own will, regardless of what the word says or what the Most High say. You're gonna make your will stand, and that's basically what Esau wants to do. He wants to establish his own will in the earth. That's why he said, "No, there's not going to be a kingdom of heaven with the Israelites. I'm gonna have the kingdom, and it's gonna be done my way." No, but it's not. It's not gonna be done your way. You're cooked. AI. Data. Man's got to build a whole. Imagine just to have all this. Yeah, man's got to suck all the water up out the ocean, out the damn rivers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuck up all the electricity just to have data centers, bro. Man, that's because you use Bandulu.
And I think now they're talking about, okay, maybe we'll use more nuclear reactors. So now we need nuclear reactors near your yard. Because that's the thing. It's I was looking into it. Lord, I'll do a video on it. Just once I better understand what exactly is going on. But it's basically a hell of a lot of chemical processing that happens at the data centers, which then makes sense of why people say they start getting sick near the near the data centers. Right,
That's the cost of the witchcraft.
That's it.
Sacrifice life.
Then there's also these, noise harm and stuff like that. You know,
For what, man? We don't need. See, in the kingdom, we don't have data centers because, first of all, people themselves are going to have the data that's necessary, the proper learning and the teaching, because we're going to make sure that the light of the world is going to just be more learned in general. Secondly, we're going to have access to the spiritual Google. So we're not, and the spiritual Google don't take up their electricity, like the data centers and all this foolishness that you're on. And any technology we develop, it's just going to be better. Yeah, your technology is so Bandula. I don't think people realize that his technology is not the real thing. When we get the real technology, it's gonna be like the difference between the Asgardians in Marvel and normal human technology.
Yeah.
This man is bogus, man. Man don't realize that his technology actively harms life. It's not proper stuff, man. It's not the real McCoy.
I was about to.
I didn't know what you was gonna read. Huh? Oh, yeah. I was about to say, how did you know what you was gonna read?
No,
Oh, okay.
The Ecclesiasticus 10.
No, because
What?
he literally just said I was already gonna read that, but I don't remember you saying what you was gonna read.
Spiritual power.
I swear.
He's doing it.
He just said, yeah, because I've got the same thing. I'm like, how? I swear you just pulled it up.
Yeah, he's an angel. Man. Told you, bro. This is
That's spooky, but
this is like Ecclesiasticus 10:1. It says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and a government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are inhabited, are in authority, shall the city be inhabited.
The part of that unwise thing is he's taken the knowledge away from people. People don't know anything, and I was just looking up some information, I couldn't find it. One of the things he's doing more and more is he's taking information away. Right? There were certain things you used to be able to Google, be able to find the information, and it was there. It's like was
Saturated people with entertainment.
yeah,
That deceitful lust.
Yeah.
That dopamine that you get from entertainment. That is too much.
Yeah.
The youth's got access. Look, even if you want to take it to a carnal level, like man used to ball when he was younger. But to learn ball knowledge, like, I didn't have access to academies. So I'm watching football to learn certain things, and then we're going in the park. And now you can literally go on YouTube and there's man giving you tutorials. Bro, if I was growing up with that,
Come on.
bro, man would have been balling out. It's like, oh, seen. So that's how you do a pass like that. Man would be practicing it. These youths ain't watching that, bro. These youths is watching KSI or one of these kick or Broner. They're watching Broner on Kickstream just drink liquor and act the fool. Man.
Drunk unk.
Drunk unk. They're watching Rampage Jackson, Adrian Broner, and these idiot kick streamers and Dean. So that even though they have access to a lot of information, like it used to be to get access to the type of, you'd have to go to a university that had the big libraries, and so that you could sit in the library and study and get all this information. Now that information is really on your phone, but no one accesses it.
Even like, remember like before. When's the last time you heard someone going to the library? I mean, like
Bro,
so that service doesn't even exist anymore.
You used to just socialize. They're stuck in just entertainment and socializing. They're not able to even use any information that's out there to develop their brain in any sort of way. They're not more intelligent than the children before, even though their access to information is 1,000 times more than the children before. But that's because they're still groomed on that Cartoon Network thing.
and the thing is, it don't have to be this way. Once again, going back to the precept that Bob mentioned, because what was it? Which I know ultimately what they're doing it is basically to control truth, right? But China, for instance, they just brought out a law, which is basically if you're online, you can't talk about something you're not qualified to talk about. So if you want to talk about finance, where's your finance degree? You want to talk about this, where's your that
So them
degree?
grifters that's running around.
All of them grifters, they can no longer, otherwise they get fined.
Giving you financial advice.
Exactly. So all of that, which ultimately you can understand, that's just a way to control the truth. That makes the government ultimately the ministry of truth, because they're approving what is truth, right? But the point more so is just like it could be that way over here, where it's like there's certain man we know that it's just straight up BS. Everyone knows it straight. What was it, Stadia? Would you call it Stadia? That Elam thing?
He just panders to tell men what they want to hear. innit?
Exactly.
And then man, because he's good looking, send the money over for the course.
That's it. But they came to find out you're no psychologist. You put psychologist Stadia, this, that, and the other.
He's just repeating a bunch of things that men want to hear. Which is the manosphere in general. But Chris, continue.
It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he'll set over one that is profitable.
That's Yahweh Shai, David, and 144,000.
A benefit to the earth.
A profit, yeah. Right now the earth is in deficit, man. It's in deficit, but it don't look like it because they focus on the wrong things. They highlight the wrong things. Like if you look at the UK, they're gonna look at the nice areas in the UK and the prestige and money in certain areas. But then look at the UK as a whole, and that's what this brother's been saying. Like, you think about, like, brothers from America probably think about the UK, they think about Hugh Grant, they think about Prince William. That's why every time man try to take the piss out of us, they try to use that same accent that really doesn't only exist in a small amount of.
Really, you saying that mocking us that way is a good thing.
Yeah.
The bacon is
like, all right, mate.
I
like regular.
But that's because the media portrays the British as this sophisticated James Bond people, bro. No, the average English bred isn't like that. There's some They're low level.
You know what? I'll give you a little example. When I remember like I was in Turkey. I was asking for directions. Yeah. More than more than 3-4 times or whatever. I was asking different people directions. But one thing I was like, but is that about how precise people was. They're like, okay, if you go north and then 250 meter, take a left, 250 meter, you go right, blah blah. And I was like, you know what? They're very like informative, like they're very informative. After our average bakelite, you take for left. You know what I'm saying? You ask the average bakelite about anything. Oh mate, you know what? I don't know, but it's pub next door.
Yeah.
They're not smart. They're
But
not
if you ask them about this closest pub though,
Yeah, yes, we have Oxford University. Yes, we have Cambridge University. But every Edomite in the UK ain't in Cambridge University. These
Nigerians,
they're in a pub called Cambridge. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, they came out the other day that the working class Edomite male is cooked on the GCSEs. That the actual immigrants are doing better. How?
They're the worst.
They're the worst, man. They're low level, low IQ, Geordie Shore type bros. That's who they are, man. They're low lives that are on bare drugs. They're all on the packet.
Benefits.
Alcohol, the packet, benefits. They're into that, man. Sexual depravity. And they love a fight on a Friday night and all kind of foolishness. And it gets ignored. Yeah. Oh, bro, go on the C2C, on the way on a Friday, Saturday night on the way back. There's vomit everywhere, piss everywhere, shit everywhere, food all over the seats everywhere. You get the white girls are out there with their damn feet, their shoes off, barefoot everywhere.
Vomit. They're vomit. Barefoot.
It's disgusting. It's a low level as you like, man. McDonald's everywhere, chips everywhere, the ketchup's all over everywhere. That ain't Jake.
Yeah, the damn bird is stealing their food.
The Edomite males are just on there being childish as hell. They're the most childish. They're out there. They're the ones that will steal something for no reason or move this or jump off this. Edomites are the most childish people ever, and they get away with it because it's winked at.
Yeah.
Because if Jake did anything like that, if Jake did, like the spotlight would be on them and the police is getting
I said a funny experience. Last time when I was on the train going home, linked up with the brothers and that, and there was probably they're probably white Jake or whatever. But the point is, as well, you see them as a bunch of Edomites, and they all got a speaker blazing tracks on the train. I never seen that. Like back in the day, it was on the buses, but man, was playing like gets and shit on the train live, and I saw a bunch of fucking Edomites, and even one underground worker that was on the train going home, looking at the white boys, not saying nothing, not saying, mate, you not think about the passenger.
Jack the lad, innit?
But I said, if that was a nigga in his phone, bro, the whole carriage would have probably a rugged tackle.
Right, because everything they do gets ignored. The violence. That's why they said with this whole the bill, there's this idea that Jake is so violent and you can't say nothing to Jake. They're temping out. Bro, Edomites have bar fights all the time. Edomites go on. The British were known as the hooligans that go to football and fight everywhere they go.
That's why no one likes them in the country.
But what Esau wants to tell you is that you could go around insulting Edomites and no one won't step to you. That's a lie. What if I go to some biker club somewhere and I just roll into the club and say, "Hey, fuck you, mate, you're a faggot, mate, and what you gonna do about it?" And you telling me that man ain't gonna fill me in? They're just gonna be like, "Hey, I'm an Edomite, so I am non-violent. I'm not going to." Bro, they're gonna punch you up. Jake was getting lynched for looking at man the wrong way.
Come on,
But all of a sudden, Jake gets targeted with this negative stereotype of we have no self-control and we're so violent, when Esau does the same things.
And the thing Charles the Builder was doing is worth getting punched up.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Free speech.
Who's gonna go up to a man in his youth and call you a nigger?
Yeah.
Well,
one guy said, well, since what you're doing is prove you should have free speech, then go to an airport and shout bomb. And let's see how your free speech is gonna work for you.
Oh, it's gonna work with you 6 foot under, bro. No, I remember
free speech, right? So you can say what you want to say. So go to if you want to test your speech, why are you calling me a nigga? Don't do that. Go to the airport and just stand in the middle of the airport and shout bomb. And let's see how that works for you, your free speech.
Couple of seconds of that.
So it's just like, no, it's not about free speech. What it is that your freedom to prove, because he's an agent anyway. But these Edomites are so down bad, but they want to still have that thing of, as bad as I am, I can still have power over Jake. Because I know I'm down bad and my daughter's messed up, my son's an idiot, my wife is probably having an affair and wants to leave me, and because I'm a waste man that's got yeast infection. But at least I can call this guy. At least I can use at least I used to be able to do it. I should still be able to call him the hard heart. This is
And guess what? The same dude got exposed getting pegged by a black
Bro,
woman.
he looks gay. He's got the moustache and the long hair. He looks like he's in the YMCA, bro.
Yeah.
What? He looks like
Well, that's what he's doing when he's going to the police and that.
he looks like he's wearing one of them, you know, the leather jacket and that. Listen, bro, these men are all homos.
That's why it's feeling so much rage.
Oh, they're chimping out.
Oh, what do you know it is? Like, there's a lot of these YouTube entertainers now that are seemingly just coming out. I'm talking about, yeah, you know, I've been picked up. It's almost as if that's the new thing they're trying to push out.
Yeah, it is.
Right. You know?
Bro, the manosphere. Now they're saying you're supposed to pose with the sun on your asshole and all this stuff, man.
What?
Yeah, it's called. It's a thing. Yeah, like you're supposed to sunbathe, showing you. Yeah,
Yo.
you didn't know about that.
What were you saying?
No.
No, I see that.
No, there's a thing where they say pushing now that man's supposed to get naked and then you expose your anus to the sun and it gives you some kind of the manosphere. Is called.
That's our sound.
Yeah, that's a ritual.
Bro.
That's a why. That is why Pilates. That's a why yoga, man. Instant fire, get that. I catch man in with his holding his legs. Man catch man holding his legs, man. Man ain't coming back to the barbecue again. Very good. That's pretty good. Yeah, these Edomites are so in the UK. They Eastwood just has good PR, man. It's not the truth.
And that's what's beautiful about the internet, because it's exposing, in fact, the internet and also travel, right? Because before, like certain places, only the more well-to-do Edomites will go into certain of these places. But now you're getting like the base Edomite being able to go to certain countries.
On the planes.
Yeah,
There's been a few videos recently of the Edomites getting drunk and fighting on the plane. But you go to the comments, their whole race doesn't get. When it's a black woman or a black man on the plane, oh, see the blacks. But when it's an Edomite woman, it's just her. No, like this isn't nothing new. White women been getting drunk and belligerent. So it's not, we know, we've grown up, we've seen this, man. You know, Sarah from the ends, blood, just moving mad on the roads.
Yeah, this is 2 Corinthians 11:14.
What are you saying? That sound like Trump. That sound like Trump, bro. That's a 2 Corinthians. Don't ever say that, kid.
Oh man, bro, man, cloned the man glitch.
Bro,
That's glitching, bro.
that's Trump. That's Glenn Trump.
Second
Man's
Corinthians
got a clip that for the
11:14.
kingdom. That's crazy.
2 Corinthians.
That's crazy. And it says, I know marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Right, these men are trying to have this moral high ground, and we're not saying that there ain't. Listen, this is what we're not saying. We accept that in the depths of the ghettos, because it's not everyone in the ghetto, but in the depths of the ghettos, there's some serious mutant-like creatures. I've seen it. That it's spooky. Just the way they're acting is so weird. Like I watch videos. You know when you watch these videos on World Star Hip Hop and it'll be like the whole family just swearing and acting crazy and the mother's like, motherfucker, you're like, rah, like, what kind of black people are these? This is next level, just like a level 10 yardie. Not every Jamaican is a level 10 yardie, but you get them level 10 yardie, where it's like, yo, this is crazy. These man, you don't want to live near nowhere and you don't want to be around these youths, yeah? So we're not going to act like there ain't some real degenerate Jakes running about. But what we're not going to pretend is that that's every Jake. That's not even the majority of Jakes. It's actually a minority. If you look at the ghetto, it's always a minority of the people causing a problem. Let's be real. Anyone that's from an ends, The man that's actually putting man down, yeah, and doing real work is only a few men. It's the same man that do the same things. Even in school, let's be honest. There was a couple man that was really getting man down, and then there was the hangers on, and then there was everyone else. Everybody wasn't going around shanking no. Yeah. But the same man will be doing it over and over again. Most ghettos are like that. That it's not like the people who are really the biggest problem is a minority, but they're such a strong effect that they have a massive effect on the on the community as a whole. But what Esau does is he'll take that super degenerate minority, like the super degenerate black woman. 'Cause my sisters don't act like that.
Yeah.
My sisters don't act like them black gal on. I didn't grow up with black women like that. I'm from the islands. I didn't know no one like that.
Yep.
But even on the islands, like my mom would tell you, like Georgetown people, I said, don't go around them people there. Because them men that were in the town center in a certain area were known as just low life degenerates. But that wasn't the whole island.
You know
what I'm saying? Like, but if you focus in on them and then say that's everyone. But that's what Esau does. He focuses in. So we're not saying these people don't exist. What we're saying is he uses that then to say that's all Jake and that's all we are. Meanwhile, they don't do that to themselves.
That in terms of propaganda, there's another example of that with the whole Transformers, because the way he speaks about Transformers is as if there are hella Transformers, as if it's something that could be given a lot more airtime. But really, it's like a minute percent of the population. Yet there's so much airtime given. Yeah, massive airtime given to it that you think that there's more than there really is. Whereas as the elders
Maybe
go into. Say again? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. Exactly that. You know, and we have to overcome that, like bad PR. That's why the scripture said the accuser of our brethren, because what Esau wants to do is cast Jake down and say that's just who we are. And we're nothing but a bunch of low lives, and we was born a low life and will always be a low life. But he's the pinnacle of morality. You know, when he's not, man. They're low lives.
Yeah.
And Jake really got a lot of that stuff from him. When you really go back into the history, the way the ghetto Jakes in America talk and act actually comes from the poor whites that were imported from England. The gambling, the alcoholism, they didn't bring that from West Africa. Yeah, they didn't bring that from West Africa. That was even the Ebonics. Most people don't know Ebonics is come from the way that the poor people in England would speak. Again, because the lower classes of people in England don't speak like the Queen. So that's why Ebonics is not really, Jake didn't invent Ebonics. Ebonics is because the English of the people that were nearest to them, that's how they spoke.
Which makes sense.
It's just like in the islands, because their man learned from like certain man from Cornwall how to speak.
Yeah.
That's why man speak with the twang of English that they speak with. It's not because they made it up themselves.
You know, have you ever met someone who went international school? Yeah. And they've just got like this American ass accent, but it'll be a full Nigerian with an American accent. But as the elders giving their gum, this is because in that school that was who was there.
Yeah,
right. Those are the people that were doing the teaching and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course, that's exactly it. So men don't realize that a lot of the base behavior that Jake exhibits was also influenced from poor whites. But they would be gambling and alcoholism and debauchery and all these things, and Jake picked that up and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau has always had lower classes. You know, but we'll pretend they didn't. They don't. You know, we'll just pretend they're all just flipping Lord Shittlewitz. It's even they're degenerates rich, but they're just degenerates behind closed doors. Yeah. Lord Bacon.
Degenerates.
Lord Loin.
It says, Proverbs 12:26, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduces.
Yeah, so they learned all that gambling and all that low life stuff from the poor whites that they were among, because the poor whites were among the Jakes. You know what I'm saying? And they picked it up and ran with it, and that's actually recorded in the history. But they'll act like Jake was just like that because they're just like that, and Esau's separate from that. Then you had the black bourgeoisie, didn't act like the low level Jakes because they were more around the high level Edomites. So they had a certain way of acting and behaving. People like Du Bois. And that they were the black bourgeoisie, but the lower level degenerate Jakes, they were acting that way because they were around the lower level degenerate white people.
Esau loves gatekeeper, man. Esau loves gatekeeper. He loves keeping Jake in certain boxes. Like I think about how, like, for instance, Jake will be like, "Oh no, you can't go so and so place because they're racist over there." That'll be a narrative push that Jake can't go to visit certain place, certain countries. But then I remember someone being like, "You're from America, you're from the whole racist."
Yeah. And you can't go to Romania,
Yeah,
but you can go in
exactly.
America.
And the thing is as well, people are like, yeah, but if you go like you said Romania, like so they don't do they don't like fat people this that and the other. It's like, yo, have you been outside of the cities in England? Outside of London, like you go around certain places, it's spooky. It's spooky.
I'll never forget when I was in Cornwall, nighttime, bro.
And it's invaded.
Yeah, I was in Cornwall, bro, driving through like them B roads, man, farm, and it was me and my woman. I said, "Bro, I don't want to start to break down."
It's
Start to
sundown
break
time.
down, like you might fucking eyes perk up out of nowhere.
Do you remember that film, man, Hot Fuzz? Right? Hot Fuzz, you know, it was played as a joke. It was going into how like these small villages that you get in England, man, you get hella witches. Man.
Oh,
Really spooky.
Remember
The
those,
mom was always good.
remember those that village that they're just all into witchcraft in the UK, and every all of them high wicked days, whatever, the whole town comes out involved in a ritual.
Yeah.
There's actual towns like that, bro. Remember, there's like
Yeah, bro, they have a whole naked bike ride. And then and this is the
one
thing.
time we came
I
past
hate to
the
talk
camp.
about football, but you know they had the Arsenal fans were, and there must have been one little clip here where one of the Jakes was getting a wicked wine from some white girl, yeah. And then you had these Edomites saying, "See that it's meant to be just celebrating football. Look what they're doing! Like it's turning it into the carnival. Everyone's gonna get stabbed." It's like, bro, you man were literally outside the damn Wembley Stadium pouring beer down each other's arse cracks and drinking, and then man didn't have nothing to say. But if Jake hold a wine, we're degenerates.
Yeah, exactly.
But Esau does the most degenerates.
because he's natural faggot. It's like, you know what I mean? You know?
Drinking out our man's Timberlands and that, you know what I
That's
mean? All
crazy.
kind of nice.
Oh, because they that came out. That was one of the things that these man, I think, was it the Australian,
Drinking out
the Australian military in Iraq. Certain people got done for it. Where it was like they'd kill a man or something. Like I think either like they drank out of his prosthetic or they drank out of his. Yeah, but they were doing the most, man. They were doing the most.
Esau's nasty. Esau invents. Esau's all about degeneracy.
Based
You know what I mean? And base activities. But like I said, it's winked at and ignored. But anything Jake does is highlighted. That's why we got to get out of this kingdom.
Oh, that's right. He said Esau did that. Look, I remember what you call it, when R. Kelly went to prison. I always remember, it's still in the chat, sent it in the chat. The Metro's headline was R. Kelly worse than Epstein. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa. You know, but that's that thing, as we quoted the precept earlier on, accuse of thy brethren, right? And people, these times you have Epstein, which he'll be one. That's
All the
just one.
Steens, bro.
All the Steens.
Yeah.
All the Steens.
Finkelstein.
Except Einstein.
Yeah.
Black
What,
one.
yeah. What was Philip's Prince Charles's friend?
Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris, right? But that's not an Edomite problem. That's just those individuals. No, that's the thing. That's why when they talk about, I always remember they'll talk about certain crimes by race, but sex crimes never come up. Nowadays they're trying to push it, but it's like really when you break it down, raw numbers, it's all easy.
And Esau gets away with a lot of things because, again, the crime statistics here, you have to remember, like, Edomite will have drugs on him and the police will let him go. Edomites will have full-blown fight. Bro, because I've worked in in amongst London. I've seen Edomites have full-blown fights, like brawls, where man are bleeding claret. Like. I'm talking about there's claret everywhere. Man's claret all down his shirt where man's nose is bust, yeah? That's instant, that's GBH. That's flipping assault. That's also a frame. And I've literally seen the BTP there. And as long as everything's calm and they've stopped, man's going to watch. So we just, anyway, just let them go. So them footballers so a lot of them man should have cases. But if let that have been a group of black boys, they would have had 50 bully bands turn up. Every single last one of them are getting nabbed and they're going to get done with a freight. Because that's how it works. When Jake does something, they 100%, you're not going to get no benefit of the doubt. You're not going to get no leeway. They're going to make sure you get a criminal record. Whereas Esau, oh, you got a packet on you? Oh, don't worry, man. Just or it's personal. Okay, cool. Esau gets away with things. Also, being the least suspected allows you to get away with crimes as well. Because if someone doesn't expect you to be a criminal, it's very easy for the detective to overlook you. A good detective doesn't overlook anyone. But it's easy for Edomites to be overlooked in a case because, oh, you just suspect that, no, it wouldn't be him. Whereas Jake, that's why Jake gets charged a lot, but they get exonerated a lot. Because you're automatically assumed to be guilty. You
Always,
know what I mean?
always give the accounts a lot, but always give the account. Remember, we was
Look at Psalms 144. I love that.
we were in the south of England one time, and we were just walking out of a
And Revelations 12 and 10.
we were just walking out of a store, right? And you know, you got the barriers and that, where it's got the whether you've stolen something. We're walking out of the store, and then basically these Edomites, as we're about to walk out the store, these Edomites walk at the same time as us. The alarm goes off, and then they carry on walking. Immediately, I stopped. I was like, whoa. Because what they were trying to do is they were trying to frame us. Because they knew if the security guards are coming, they're coming for us.
Yeah, the Edomites go under the radar. They go under the radar because they're not the ones that are, and that's why they get more lenient sentences as well. Because the idea is that they're inherently innocent, whereas Jake is inherently guilty. So living in a society, of course, we're going to be taught for certain things more than others. But Esau does murders all the time. Esau be killing their wives, killing their husbands, children killing their pet, and a lot of them do get away with it before. I watch videos of man that got away with it for 30, 40 years. Grandmas will get arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, only because they came up with some forensics. At the time, they couldn't catch them or not.
Talking on drugs, everyone knows you go to the city of London and you test everyone there. They go and fail the test.
But Esau loves the packet, man. He's a packet monster.
That's why you get certain places where, well, I think apparently like Hong Kong is big on cocaine.
Oh, the Philippines. I was watching a program on the Philippines.
Right.
Oh, that's a good one actually. For the Philippines, not Philippines. What's the one that's down there near it? Bali. Bali's actually being destroyed.
Yeah, by these
Like,
Edomites.
By these Edomites coming there. They've actually destroyed it. And the drug culture, because the drug culture's come in to feed them the packet.
Yeah.
Because the Edomites love the packet, bro. But you know, they're just hobbits. Remember, Elon said, the evil savage immigrants are invading, and all the Edomites are like the hobbits.
Yeah.
The fucking hobbits. Like, they're just innocent little small people that don't hurt no one.
Right.
Yeah, if the hobbits were on the packet, and having brawls over football,
Honestly, it's like Hong Kong, because that's basically the history of Hong Kong. A lot of because it was once British, you get a lot of business that goes through Hong Kong, right? So even HSB, that's Hong Kong, Shanghai Banking, whatever, what have you, right? You get a lot of Brits that go there, and mind you, these are countries where being found with drugs, you're dead. Like, you're going into jail and you're getting death sentence. But because you got to feed the Edomites their drugs, there's certain ways to get around it.
This is the book of Psalms 144, I'm sorry, from 11. Say, read me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood, that our sons may be.
Yeah, the right hand is the right hand. I mean, Esau is nothing but a liar. The liar is a murderer. He's a thief. You know what I mean? And it's like they are like I always say, they are the number one fertilizer of wickedness. But then they just try and push it like as Jake's the face of wickedness. Scripture calls him, like you said, the accuser of thy brethren. But that's all he knows. That's what he does.
Can I grab what you just touched on? This is First Maccabees 1:9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Yeah, man. That's why Scripture calls them the order of wickedness. You know what I mean? Anything that Esau can accuse Jake for being, he's the number one that field. If he might accuse Jake of being a rapist or a murderer, when he's the number one you know, biggest rapists and murderers.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. Like, you know, they like to talk about the black gang, innit, and all this stuff. Now, there was a thing called the mods versus the rockers. So you had one type of guy that was called the mods, one that was called the rockers, and they used to have knife fights back in the 50s and the
It's
60s.
funny. Remember at school, they used to like when you fight these rockers, like
Yeah, that's a real thing that they had. This was before a black man was like. So this idea that the whole thing about stabbing people and gangs, I gotta get an Uber from them, but it's called Mods and Rockers, and there was another gang in London, a white gang that was known for. London's always had man stabbing people, but again, who gets the
Bad press.
no? No, no.
catching on what?
No, I need to get one from
This is Revelations 12 and 10.
Is that Psalms finished?
If you want to read it more.
Yeah. Like, let's see what else is in there for the power. Read it. I mean, that's the fault.
Psalms 144 and 11 again. Read me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the hand of
Right, yeah, falsehood. Like, and even on the point of them being vague, you know, they have all these plans and agendas, you know, that run 50, 60, 100,000 years down the line, and it's all going to come onto naught. Because they might try and act as if they don't know, but what they do know is simply this. That barbecue, right? But anyway, they are bound by prophecy, right? The scripture says he's a point of his bounds that he cannot pass. Well, he's bound by prophecy, subject to it. You know, so all their plans and inventions or whatever they may have planned in the future is gonna come to naught. Right?
It goes on to say that our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as a cornerstone, polished after the similitude of a Paris.
Yeah, I think that's the point. One is the point.
Revelations 12, verse 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and this power of his.
You can start from the war in heaven. Start from the war
7.
in heaven.
Yeah? This is Revelations 12 and 7. And it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Yeah, and Michael's one of the Lord's top, you know what I mean, angels, man. You know, and it's like, you know, that, you know, a lot of people turn that verse into like this spookyism. He was the most beautiful angel, and Lucifer coming back with his team, and you know, everyone's gonna be in the red corner and the blue corner, and they're only gonna meet in the middle. Ah, man, that's talking about when the Lord comes back, you know, with his ships, you know, with his heavenly host of angels, and Esau and the world armies that's left are gonna attempt in vain to fight, you know, but they're gonna absolutely get crushed. You know what I'm saying?
Verse. And it says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found in any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth all.
Whoa, yeah, man, and you know that devil, that serpent, man. You know what I mean? Is like, you know what I mean? It's Esau, man. So starting off,
So
as the people, man.
Gonna come down that road.
They are the seed of the wood.
So they would just turn left.
No, right?
So
And it says, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with us.
It's about only dust and smell of smoke, you know, what's left, man. And his power, his authority is all gonna be crushed, taken down, like in an instant. Right?
And it's verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength.
Yeah, that's that salvation and strength. As soon as the Lord comes, that's day one of the kingdom. You know, the physical establishment of the Lord. Yeah, of our Lord. the day of his redeemed, that day. When the Lord comes that day, that's when the next chapter of earth begins, right? You know, Jacob is the beginning of it that follows, right? Esau's the end, you know, right?
And the kingdom of our God and the power of Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
Yeah.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuseth them before our God day and night.
Yeah, if you go into that accuser, it's slandering. Right?
And that's what they do. They basically cast Jacob as being irredeemable. And that's what the whole scientific racism is about. Genetically, we're irredeemable. Genetically, we're just low IQ, evil, calling us black in itself. We're just irredeemable. How can you redeem a black person? They're just black. That's what they are. They were born that way. That's what they say, right? And that's the argument that they're making. No, these people, they don't deserve to be the chosen people. Look at them. Look at what but what you don't understand is we were chosen not of works, but of the will of the Lord. So even if Jake is being wicked, they're still the chosen. And the Lord can redeem them because it's in his power. Scripture says in the part of the Lord, the Son of Man has power to forgive sins on earth. Scripture turns around and says, all sin is forgivable except for blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. So at the end of the day, Jake can be a murderer. He can still be delivered. You can't. And that's the difference.
Hey, you have the mouth factor on the side of your house.
Jake is a sinner, yeah, but Jake's still gonna be redeemed. And that's through what? As they're gonna say, the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony. That's the power of the gospel. The power of the gospel is that we're not condemned. Because if it weren't up to, if it wasn't for Yahweh Shai and his sacrifice, yeah, we would be condemned and Esau would be correct. But he's not correct because Yahweh Shai overcame our faults, our trespasses for us. You know? All we have to do is believe on him. So to hell with Esau, man. That's why we're tired of Esau. All Esau wants to do is put Jake down. You know, that's all Esau wants to do. Cast Jake down, man. You know? And in a way, we cast ourselves down. That's why man said, you ain't shit. I ain't shit, and you ain't shit. And you're gonna be shit. Because it's in our minds, you know? So, but what we're saying is, look, we ain't shit because of our action, but we could be more. We're not limiting ourselves to being low. We're saying we're low, yeah, we acknowledge our sin, but we could be more. Perfection is our destiny. And so we strive towards that perfection rather than embrace. A lot of times they embrace degeneracy because they think that's what they are. They embrace it. They actually embrace it as that's what I am. Yeah. And if you want to be a real version of me, that's what I have to do.
Yeah. Which is why it's so easy for Edomite to subvert like niggas. Like, if he wears a snapback, Timberlands, you know Jake, hey man, he's invited to the barbecue.
Yeah.
You know? It's sort of like, remember that one Edomite that got AIDS, and then he passed it on to Eves. He perfect, and all this nigga was is a Jew in a snapback, just with bare black women in his arms. That's how, you know, because he's wearing a hat. They were just giving him the box, man.
And they were getting
AIDS.
They were getting AIDS in return. Bro.
Yeah.
I was hitting them with that poison milk. Bro.
Yeah.
Verse 11, it says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
Yeah. Speak on it.
Yeah. That's it, man. Let me read that again, Bible. Verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. That's it, man. The blood of the Lamb represents you, Yahweh Shai, man. He died for the nation of Israel's sins, right? So the scripture says, well, in Numbers, there's no enchantment against Jacob, but there's nothing that Esau can do to basically to intercept, intervene, manipulate the scriptures or Bible prophecy. Yeah, it's actually our destiny to be the sons of God, man, which Esau can never be. That's why he's crying every day, trying to accuse us, trying to make us look bad, trying to find more ways of creating more sin for us to be crippled. But it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop the prophecy. Want to see that?
Yeah, to build on what you're saying, build on a precept. See that Romans 8 chapter speaks about basically nothing's going to separate the children of the elect out of the Yahweh Shai's hands, man. All right, so the elect are chosen. The elect are chosen, they're sealed, and it is what it is. Read what Psalm 32, I think. goes into how basically, the blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven. Right. So there's ultimately, and this is the beautiful thing, there's literally nothing evil can do. Because the moment that the Most High wrote, look, y'all are going, go off, you're going to go into captivity, but my son, he's going to come and going to redeem you. And then, through a remnant, y'all can be saved. That was it. It was done. Right. At that moment, it was done. There was nothing you can do after that can upset that, because the Most High is bound by his word.
Book of Numbers 3:19. Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the sons of man that he should repent. As he said,
Not a man that should lie. This was the ultimate liar. That's all he does. The scripture said lies and
It's not because it's actually in Esau's interest to keep us in a degenerate and wicked state. And that's why the system produces these degenerate Jakes. The whole system is really designed for Jake to become more degenerate, to become toxic, because they know that if we were to actually improve, the Lord will be with us. They don't actually want Jake to be upstanding and to be right and to be moral. And this is why you have the hip hop industry. This is why you have the drugs. This is why you have the other forms of popular media. This is why you have the CPS. This is why you have the jail systems creating dysfunction. No, it all feeds into the same thing, because they need Jake to really be in that degenerate state there in order to dominate. They don't want Jake to just uplift themselves and start living right. You know what I mean? Because that's a danger to them.
And that's why they're also exporting a lot of the Westernism to places where Jake be at that don't actually accept a lot of the stuff that happens in the West. Well, you got Dirty December in Ghana and Nigeria. Or is it one of the other? Both, right? Where, and then, one of my old colleagues, he went to Ghana recently to show his youth off to the extended family. I was like, it was calm. I was like, bro, but it's getting too westernized, man. Right? Because there's certain things with certain cultural things. TV.
Even if you watch a lot of the South African programs, very American.
Yeah.
So through Cardi B and the thing, the thing about the black entertainment industry in America, because it's based upon investment and money. Because at the end of the day, people got to remember that in order to reach the masses, it takes money. You can easily reach man in your own area. That's easy to do. I can reach people in my own area, but remember, Americans like 250 million people, 52 states here. You got to be on a major network, all these different things. So the black media that will flourish is only the black media that gets funded. Simple as that. So when you look at this Stars TV, for instance, all these baddies programs, and it's exported, but they got Baddies UK, Baddies Jamaica. That Baddies program is toxic as hell, like, but it gets funding, gets production, and it's pushed, because it's in their benefit, because they want more black women to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like they push Snowfall and all these gangs and Power and all this stuff, like, and they'll give that loads of money and ratings. Yeah, because that's the BET. That's what they'll try and push on the people. You feel me? That's how the game goes. And then that media is so powerful that now it starts affecting Jake in America, Jake in the Caribbean, Jake in Ghana. They start being influenced by it.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what you're being influenced by is Esau's
Revelation 17 as well.
version of black culture, which is always going to be negative and toxic. It's not spreading nothing good. It's not spreading nothing good at all. Cardi B ain't spreading nothing good. All these guys, they're not spreading nothing good. That Rick Ross weren't spreading nothing good.
It's disgusting. It's really
It's not spreading nothing that you want to live by.
even BBLs, like you be looking at that shit. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah.
It's just it's an external body of plastic in you. And then obviously sometimes they show when they change it after years. It's all black and shit.
Well, I was watching a
Disgusting,
video.
bro.
Most of them are regretting it now,
Yeah.
and a lot of them, because they were only doing it for the trend's sake, because the trend is gone now. Now they're
Taking it out.
envying slim women.
Yeah, some of them were taking it. I like, remember what was that bitch? Kim Kardashian. Bitch looks like she's not got as much. She's taking some of that shit out.
Because they know they're going for that starve look.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's you saw it spreading it throughout the world.
You see
The
that
virus.
Fuckers look like clowns, bro.
That's why America's the most demonic place, because American culture has had a massive effect on cultures all over the world in a negative way, not in a positive way.
So, because building on that, if I can, earlier on talking about E will say it's not good for Jake to go certain places, but American Jakes, when they go certain places and they have negative experiences, what they don't realize is it's the Americanism that people don't like. There's a certain obnoxiousness that Americans have when they're abroad that people just don't like. There was a case, it was like one Italian brother, he said something completely different, and he's to America, they're in the middle of Japan, right? He's Italian, he said something completely different, and these two Jakes, come on, you say that again. Because they thought that he said nigger. He didn't say nigger. Right? And now they're thinking that they got one over, but everyone's just looking at them like dickheads. Because it's that American exceptionalism, that obnoxiousness, that being loud. I can be loud, not realize certain places you can't be loud. Certain places people look at you like, what the hell are you doing?
People that live in America live in a bubble. Again, that's because people got to remember that America's not really a country. It's a company of countries. So you can't even look at America like a country. So when you look at America, like UK is a country, England's a country. Yeah? But America is like 50 UKs together calling itself a country. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so you could easily just be in that bubble, because going from the East Coast to the West Coast is like going to a different side of the planet. So if you can literally just only being caught in that, and it's massive, and there's so much going on, that you can easily just be in a bubble, which is why most Americans are in a massive bubble, man. Whereas other people from other places, you're more likely to learn about other countries. I mean, culture.
Habakkuk 2:15, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also.
Right. When all the way through slavery, when you're telling Jake they're dumb, stopping them from reading, like it's like anything with a child, right? If you constantly berate a child and call them dumb, evil, wicked, and stupid, that's how they're gonna think of themselves, and that's how they're gonna act, because they're gonna internalize that. And that's basically what Esau did to Jake for generations. Just constantly putting Jake down, had nothing good to say about Jake, had no positive aspects, had no positive affirmations. At every turn, they never said you could, they said you couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you couldn't, you can't. This thing you can fly a plane. Like, how dare you? You're not smart enough for that. People forget that. People forget there was most of the things that Jake readily do now. There was a time that Esau actually thought that you're physically incapable. Your brain cannot complete complex tasks. So what does that do to your psyche when that is being drummed into you by a higher power, someone with authority over you? It's internalized. And then if it's internalized in you, you end up internalizing it into your children. Which is why you might get someone like, you look at the way like the Igbos are. They're Jakes, but their mentality when it comes to business is because they never had that negative thing put on them like that. So they have a more of a positive outlook on themselves and what they can do. They don't look at themselves like, oh man, I'm just gonna play basketball because that's what I could do. Or they'll say, no, I can be intelligent, I can become a doctor, I can do these things like this. I should be doing that.
And I'll play basketball.
I know. And that's why
We've seen it happen with
Jalen Brown is one of them. There's a few of them guys. Gabar Yahweh showed me another ex-NFL guy who's working for Goldman Sachs and all that. He's a banker and that. But they basically just made Jake like, we're just a brute, yeah? And we just there to be cool. And our version of being cool is either being gangster or something to do with sports. When actually, we can make anything cool. Why can't we be cool doctors? And there are Jakes that are doctors and they're still cool. But again, they don't, in black culture, because they're not incorporated into the entertainment, they're not seen as high status. This is why guys will be a doctor and can't get no punani. And it's like they got money, and it's not like they're not squares. You got Jakes that they're cool, but in order to be cool, they got to act like they're a gangster now. Like, what the hell is going on? Why can't you just be a normal person and get the ratings? You know what I'm saying? Because Esau's fostered a very toxic and negative culture that is all about dumbing, keeping you down and grabbing you down and telling you if you talk a certain way with a certain amount of words, you're not being black anymore. You know what I'm saying? So if you pronounce your words and learn bigger words, oh, this guy thinks he's white. Like what? Because I learned. But look at the Nigerians. Them man outdid the words. Them man don't have that in there. You know what I'm saying? Why is it they don't have that? Why is it a Nigerian won't go to another Nigerian? Oh, you're not black enough because you're speaking with a high vernacular. Think of where that. What's the difference? Because one was raised in America, generations in America, and the other one was away from Esau more. Even though they're still on the Esau system, they're not as on the Esau. So you've not been suppressed.
I think we mentioned there months or years ago where it's like when you're then looking at the number of people that can become a basketball player or can become it's
fool's errand.
it's a fool's errand. So Jake, he's basically getting all Jakes put their minds to do something that 10 people, a football soccer team is
one guy,
22 man.
who's that guy? Was it Matt Letitia?
Yeah.
Or one of them guys you're saying, look, the truth of the matter is it's easier for your son to become a doctor than a Premier League footballer.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's way easier because all you need to do is study. To be a footballer in the Premier League, you need to basically be 1%, 1% athlete, and then it's all got to go right for you.
Yeah.
Whereas to be a doctor, you ain't got to be
Study the team.
you just study the team.
And the thing is, and this is the thing, it's like there's money to be made in this world, man. Right? You know, but there was money to be made. But all of that time Jake spent trying to be Barcelona,
It could have been colder.
could have been because there was a time Google was paying like what would you call it? I think Google UK English wages are a lot less than American wages. But if it was like a Google employee, you could be $250,000.
It's not cool. That's the problem. That's why black culture, led by the entertainment industry, it has to be destroyed because they've made what they've put as high status and cool is all negative. It's all foolishness, man. That's what, you know. That's why they will do interviews with certain women, and when they say, "Would you be with a doctor or
drug dealer?"
they'll say, "Well, why wouldn't they?"
dealer?
Because the drug dealer, like we were discussing last week at camp, is held in high regard and high status. So of course the women want guys at high status, and guys want to be guys at high status. So if you want to change that, what you need to do is flip the script and make the right people be high status, and automatically people will be that, and the women want to be with them. But Esau's the one that's really set up that situation. Esau set that up, and the Nigerians are the perfect example of that because they don't respect you wanting to be no damn athlete like that. Your parents will beat you. What are you talking about? No, you're going to be an engineer or you're going to be a lawyer or something like that. You know? And they're Jakes. The Igbo mans are Jakes. Yeah? Yoruba, but they have a different mentality. But a mentality comes from culture. You know? And the closer you are to Esau, the more messed up you are in terms of, because Esau will break you down, man. And he'll have you thinking that your goal in life is to just be a nigga, and that's all you should be. And that's good. You be Adrian Broner. Just be funny and talk some shit. And even the dudes that have intelligence will dumb themselves down to be a puppet for Esau. A lot of these rappers are very intelligent.
Like I told you, one rapper who was a proper demonic drill nigga, and then he rebranded himself as a like now.
Because writing bars, in order to write high level bars, you have to be intelligent. Because what people don't tell you is that when you're piecing together them syllables, you have to have a vernacular, you have to have an understanding of the English language in order to be doing these things. Like what Wu-Tang and all them man were doing was, and that's why you see them now that they're older. When you sit them down into interviews, they're not stupid people. They're intelligent. Like if you're stupid, you can't really be a rapper because it takes a lot to be putting these bars together. But you have to portray stupid things in order to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? You can't show your intelligence in what you speak about in the rap because that's not what Esau wants. He wants you to talk about dumbed down things. You know?
Even on what do you call it? Because I read something recently, even on the business aspect of how they set it up, they actually took a worse deal in the beginning, right? In the sense that I forget which one it was, but he was basically like, look, man, we don't want to be tied down to certain one label and stuff like that. And then basically what that allowed them to do is allowed each of the members to go to these other labels, but then they were still pushing Wu-Tang. You know, and it's like at first people like they pushed it still because I think it's only like $60,000 the first deal.
Yeah, man, Jay can be very intelligent, of course, because we're the people of Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? But if you listen to Esau, go on Twitter, we're just low IQ base animals, and we don't deserve the jobs we have. Oh shit, that was crazy. That's wicked, bro. That was wicked. You could have a concussion. Yeah, man launched the ball to the back of the youth head. That's wicked. Man. Like, the youth's too small to get a ball launched at his head like that.
No, I thought you
That
had
could
a
easily
feeling
be.
that was gonna happen.
No, but he literally threw it.
He threw it at
Yeah, like he launched it like that and hit it directly to the back of the head as well.
He survived.
Now, man, ain't definitely low IQ. He's probably an Edomite. That's why he's tears. Pain. How would you do that to your toddler brother, bro? That's crazy, bro.
And he's not even doing test drives for it. Eating crap.
That's wicked, bro. Man can get a concussion, especially the back of your head. School shooter.
This is the book of Psalms 50 and 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest
And
thy...
that's what Esau does. Esau gets off work, and he goes on Twitter and just looks for videos with Jake in it.
No
Just talk
context.
shit.
No context. No nothing to it.
Well, that's why he's just like, bro, give it a rest, brother. Oh my god.
But what's beautiful though is as a backlash to that, you're getting all these social media rules now. Well, it was like this whole thing about no children under 16, 18 being able to use social media, which basically means everyone over that age now has to authenticate.
You can't hide behind a fake anonymous.
Exactly. And what's going to be really interesting is the new US entry law, where you got to give up your socials to get in, man. So I'm going to be very interested in what's going to happen during this World Cup, man.
Yeah, a lot of man ain't gonna go because they've been talking shit about Trump.
Yeah. And it's a thing as well, because you may be like, oh, I ain't got any, but one of the powers that they have is to seize your devices and search them. And once again, as we were touching on earlier on, you may think you've deleted it all, but as I always say, in
The
tech,
World Cup's gonna be dead.
yeah, it's already been, because the hotels ain't
And
being
it will
booked.
just be that England win it. You know them ones, like when it's dead,
Rice,
just
rice,
nothing,
rice
yeah?
for Ballon d'Or.
Mad Wakey scores a hat trick, some Bandulu hat trick. You know, shinning it in, blood. You know them ones. That's the way football's going anyway. It's the end.
You know what? It would be lovely. Obviously, fuck England, but it would be banter if like the World Cup would win. It's just all the black score. Every black.
Yeah, because
No, the whole team. The whole team. The only ones that white is Rice and Kane, bro.
Livramento?
No, and the keepers.
Yeah, so there's like 4 white dudes on the whole team.
Livramento.
Everyone else is either light skin, lighty, or
Hybrid.
hybrid. Or,
Hybrid or full.
and they left Foden and Maguire and all them, man.
The man
Crazy.
is so-
They hurt.
But you do want Maguire to be playing at United. Let's do it.
No, Maguire should have won. Maguire
I hear it.
Maguire should have won. No, not because he's not. He should have won.
No, I hear it. I don't even say that.
No, Maguire is good, like in them situations in tournaments. He's always done well. He should have won.
Henderson's the one to stay though.
Henderson should not be there whatsoever. I don't know.
He's just a baby.
Mass
man.
flop, lad. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's been sucking off. He's sucking off the FA, man. Guaranteed.
Dude, son.
Rituals. Anyway, go on now. Fuck it. Henderson's a donkey, man. He shouldn't even- But they said it's for morale. What's that, bro? Take Palmer just in case, innit?
Yeah.
Anyway, England might just win it, you know, and that's just that will prove that we're at the end. Remember, if England win the World Cup, then you know this is the end. So they're gonna get gassed.
60 years later.
Well, that first World Cup was a scam. If you watch
66, bro.
If you watch the documentary, bro, like that was a rigged World Cup. Like, brother, look, some goals didn't even go over the line. Seriously,
But
there's a whole thing on it.
That's what they be.
Some shit was the side net end and they wrote it as a goal.
But the thing is, it's like that's one of the things that Esau push. He makes it seem like sports is real. Sports ain't real. There's a lot of fixing that goes on in sport.
Scumbaggery, guy.
Scumbaggery.
It'd be interesting because, hey, you know, Jake. At the end of the day, Jake is the better athlete. You know, and sports kind of just show that because at the end of the day, these Edomites can't compete. They're too soft. They ain't got the pace and power. They ain't got the athleticism to keep up with Jake, right?
The elder shall serve the younger.
Yeah, we are stronger than them.
Stronger than the other side.
They're complaining, but it is what it is, man. You know, by the way, he's got the pace, isn't it?
But that's why they like to harp on the idea of IQ, the idea of it, because when you compare apples to apples, Jake is smart.
But you know what they try to do in football? Well, France ain't done that because they just have to just give up, innit? That's why they win shit. But the idea, they certain positions that you rely more on pace and power, they let Jake have that. But then they always try and retain the regista, or you know, the man that the midfield, the central midfield, they try and keep it Edomites. The thinking players, they try and keep them Edomites. So it's like if you're a Jake, when you should really be playing in the 8 year or the number 10, they try and like Pogba, nah, stick him in the 6. You know what I'm saying? Because they want him to just be the donkey that's running around, pace and power, crashing into people, instead of saying actually man can use his brain and play the game and control like Xavi and Iniesta. They don't like the Seedorfs because the Seedorfs expose man that actually know Jake can have pace and power and intelligence and play in them positions. They don't want Jake in the number 10s and that. They just put man in the wing and let man run, or put man Sol Campbell at centre back and let man chase man down and slide that. You know what I mean? But Jake, anyway, let's keep it going. Fuck England, but they're probably gonna win it, man. Just to piss man off.
Horrible, yeah.
See Bacon like happy, bro.
Yeah, but these are the same ones that are complaining that it's not an English team no more. It's African.
Yeah, all of them are hating. Well, just take the book out of France.
Yeah, France.
Take a leaf out of France book, man.
Because you know what? That did happen when France won. Was it 98?
98, yeah.
A lot of French people didn't celebrate and they were angry because they said France didn't win, Africa won. Which, you know, they might have an argument.
Charge it.
But charge it. Now they embrace it. Their songs are African songs. And it's hard. It's lit. You know what I mean? You let the Edomites pick the song.
Oh. No, it's North London forever,
Yeah.
man. Terrible.
Psalm 15:21. These things have thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
Yeah, in before Esau's eyes, Jake is gonna go from the slave, the degenerate, to the prince, the son of God. And everything that comes with that, not just the title, but the being, the intelligence, the wisdom, the style, the sophistication. We're going to have all of that with the flavor. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have it all, man, because we do have it all. We're going to have it all. And that's going to happen before Esau's eyes, man. But they tried to hold us down and keep us down. We're going to rise straight to the top. And we're going to be what we were always meant to be, which is perfect. That's why the Lord said, be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. We are going to be perfect. And who's better to rule than he that is perfect? Something that you could never be, Esau. Your imperfection embodied. We're going to be perfection. The perfection of the flesh, the perfection of the spirit, all together in one, in complete balance and harmony. That's who we're going to represent as a people. The perfect government, the perfect families. We're going to have the perfect children, the perfect women. We are going to be that perfect image that the other nations look to emulate. With a benchmark. Not you. See, man, if you emulate Esau, you're just going to end up being the devil. That's why it says, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Because if you try and copy Esau, you're going to end up being a devil. You're going to be off the packet, doing weird rituals and being a homo.
This is Isaiah 45:14. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee in chains, they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee, and they shall make supplication unto thee,
Be
saying,
a begging.
Yeah.
You know, right now, the man will act proud. They're going to be proud in that day. When we get exalted in power, we're going to have just that power. Fearful power. Man ain't going to come up to us and looking man in the eye and saying, oh, mate, what, you think you're an Israelite? Bro, bare on the floor, bare begging for man's life. Just so that man can bend in knee, real supplication, real humility, man. Because we're just going to be there like real powers, man.
Was it in June where it was like when a certain frequency came up, man just kneeled? Was that June? June. The film June.
Oh,
you remember where and it was
when he
like,
said silence.
yeah, and it was like bam, and it just like man's energy.
Kind of,
like,
you can control, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like, listen, these heathens are gonna have absolute respect for the sons of God. Yeah, in the earth. You know, and that's how it should be. And it's gonna be because the Lord is going to endow us with that power, man. Ain't going to be no debating or arguing. You know, none of that kind of thing.
It says, supplication unto thee, saying, surely God is in thee, and there's none else.
They're going to acknowledge that
There is
the
no
one
power.
true God is with us. He's with us. So to deal with us is like dealing with God. Where his
Physical manifestation.
physical manifestation in the earth. That's what the Son is. Then there's a film like that. That's why the scriptures say, be one in me as I am one in the Father. So I guess we're part of the Trinity then, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, yeah, because basically you're one in agreement. Meaning the decisions I make here, it's almost like the Most High was here making the decision. Because man's tuning in the spirit where it's just on point. That's why it says, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So you're going to make that decision according to how the Lord would make that decision. See? But so like, before I lose it, yeah, there was a program, Spartacus, and you had Crassus, and he sent his son, and he gave his son strict instructions, but his son tried to do the Bandulu thing, thought he could defeat Spartacus by rushing about on a rush thing, yeah, and then lost. And when man met him, like, he was like father, and then man just slapped him up. And all he said to him was, my word and my will. You are supposed to be my word and my will. What's he trying to say? Bro, you're meant to, everything you do, you're supposed to be according to how I do it. But instead of doing according to what I did, you went and did my Bandulu thing, and now man are looking foolish. And that's how the Lord said, look, man, the way you man Israelites are moving, you're making me look bad. Because I'm supposed to be your father. So the Lord's going to fix that up. Because we brought shame to the Lord by profaning his name among the heathen. But they're like, oh, look, it's the people of the Lord. Look what's happened to them.
The word says emissary, EMISSARY. Says an emissary is a representative or agent sent on a mission to represent the interests of another person, government, or organization. They are typically dispatched to deliver official messages, negotiate terms, or gather information.
Yeah, that's why they have something called the seal of the king. Right? You know what I mean? Where, you know, basically that's like the king more or less being in front of you.
Yeah.
To make
They have the power to make that decision.
Yeah.
So we're going to, the beginning, you got Yahweh Shai, but then we're going to be an extension of that. So our rule, that's why it's called the kingdom of God on earth. Our rule on earth is like the Most High was here making them judgments, because our judgments are going to be right according to the Spirit.
It's like, remember in Egypt with Joseph, he had the seal of the king. King gave him his ring. Like, look, man,
Whatever Joseph said is word.
Yeah,
Word is born.
look, man, I'm just here, innit? Do what Joseph said.
So that means there ain't going to be no corruption, no foolishness. No, we're coming in that image. Unlike Esau, again, Esau comes in the image of Satan, corruption, and everyone's seeing it. Trump and what do you see with Trump and these man? Like, didn't today he contradicted himself in the same fucking sentence? I think I posted it in a group. The man literally contradicted himself in the same sentence. He said no about something, then he said, what? No, he said G said he don't think our military is the greatest. He thinks our military is the greatest. But the man contradicted himself in the same fucking sentence, brother. Do you know how insane that is? That's madness. Like, but this is how Esau rules, through confusion and lies and manipulations and psyops, bro. Corruption. Everyone's seen the corruption. Man make an announcement and the stocks are flying off and they're making other, and it's open now that Esau it's just like the corruption is even accepted now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, politicians lie. People accept that. Yeah, you point out the lie his politician told. Yeah, but he's a politician, so you've accepted that. You've accepted that the mans that rule over you just lie and they're pedophiles.
Well, they did it. Yeah.
But at least it's my pedophile. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? This is insane.
That's it.
Man's in Epstein lists and all sorts. Like, what are we doing here? And that's the mans that's making laws to govern you.
They call it lesser two evils. So that, yeah, you know, both of them are evil. Right?
They wouldn't have Tookie Williams making laws to govern them, but you're gonna have these criminals, pedophiles, and that. Come on, you got to go.
The prime for the drug hypocrites. So
Yeah, they've been able to pretend that they are the enlightened people, the elves. You know, in Lord of the Rings, you got the elves. They ain't the elves, man.
that's why he's mocked called Lucifer. That's why the Lord mocked him, man.
How about now fallen? You're not
They're
an
so
enlightened
smart.
people.
You know?
You Edomites don't have the light. They're not enlightened. Like they got a bunch of witchcraft and they got evil. They got darkness, but they don't have the light. The light bearers, the true light bearers, is the elect. We're the ones that are gonna bring light to the world. That the world is gonna uplift itself. We're gonna bring these dirty heathens out of the mud into the ways of wisdom.
Yeah, yeah.
Even beginning with the food. You know what I'm saying? Esau giving you damn flipping strawberry. That's the last other thing I learned about. I never really thought about that. You know, you get them biscuits or whatever, or them, and then it will have strawberry filling, and then it's literally just there's no strawberries in it. It's literally just like some strawberry flavoring and some next shit they mixed
Scent.
up, yeah, and a scent. Like them Nutri-Grain bars and you know what I'm saying? Like, man, fuck Esau, man.
2:24, verse 5, and it says, "Behold, I've taught you steps."
Like, he's so wicked that because there's people that like real food that sometimes tastes bad to people because they've eaten so much junk for so long. You know, it's like so how comes this juice isn't all one density or one color? Or, it's like, bro, that's how it is in nature.
Yeah, I always remember my bro is like, yo, how comes I forgot what juice it would taste exactly the same. But it's like, but when you eat 3 different apples, for example, they don't all taste the same. They got different textures, different this, different, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And the whole, you're talking about food, the whole thing about why children in the West don't like vegetables. Vegetables are disgusting. Where do you get that from?
Bro, these youths. When I was growing up on the islands, yeah, man was picky, like obviously I didn't like okra, but that was more consistency. Too slimy. Okra and sauce, yeah. But most things I just eat, man. Then I had my little brother grew up in England and bare things they don't eat. Like one of them don't eat eggs. I said, brother, if you was born in Montserrat, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
That was like a staple diet. Man. You're hungry, man, we'll fry an egg. You tell me you don't eat egg, right?
Yeah.
You're not allergic to egg, you just don't eat egg. Nah, I just don't like it. Another one don't like saltfish. I said, what? Yeah, because and it's something about growing when you're westernized, the youths end up just rejecting a lot of things that you're like, what? And they're very picky. And you might, if you got 5 kids, you got to make each 5 of them a different meal. It's madness.
It almost brought a tear to my eye when I saw her eating 50 last week.
Yeah.
These youths here, man, they'll legit have youths that only eat nuggets.
Yeah.
They only want to eat chicken nuggets. They won't even eat chicken. They'll just eat chicken nuggets.
Yeah. But it's Esau pushed that whole soft parenting, man. Because it's like, once again, me when I was growing up, I had no
But
choice.
you know what? That's because when you start putting them onto food, you're supposed to grind up like food that you would normally eat with a little bit less seasoning and introduce the seasoning to them slowly so they can get used to it from young.
Yeah.
But when they're young here, man are giving them these artificial foods. And so they stay on the artificial foods.
With high sugar content, man.
Yeah.
And it's like when it was Jamie Oliver, which people clown him and stuff, but he did actually bring out a lot about just how messed up the food is for children.
Yeah, there's no reason. Listen, man, the food they're doing in the school, you know what they're doing now in the schools, yeah? What they're doing is they're hiding. Yeah. So they're getting these companies, they're outsourcing the food. So they don't really have dinner ladies no more that actually cook food in the schools.
Wow.
The food's really outsourced by a company, so they'll order it and they'll get a delivery. So sometimes it will be a system where they'll actually you order what you want for your kids to have. Yeah. So and you have to do it by a certain time because a company's going to deliver them. And it comes here, and then the bread might be flipping moist because it's been wrapped. So and it's all like that, or the chips might come moist. It's not fresh. It's like it's been transported, right? But you don't get to see it. So they'll tell you this is what's on the menu, but you won't actually get to come in and physically see the food. The only one that sees the food is your child. You can't see it. You don't even know what it is that they're giving them. You just know it's called macaroni and cheese or whatever, but you will never see it, bro. And if you ask them, they won't make a way for you to come in and actually see the food or taste it. You can't do it. And I always say to myself, why is school dinner so shit? You can get any auntie blood, go higher. Any hospital food is brought tear to my eye, blood. It's dark. My aunt, when she was in hospital, when I see what they were feeding her, it brought a tear to my eye. Like, I was like, nah, man, I had to start trying to find a way to bring her food. But how? When you got bare aunties and all that could just mix up some jollof, like basic. Like, how's man in Africa in a school fixing up a better meal for their kids, yeah, than here with all the money?
It's that, well, it's because someone else needs to get paid, and that's when you follow with all of these things. There'll be someone had a friend who needed a contract, and then they're all like, "Cool, all right, we'll give you 10 hospitals. Here you go."
But quality food shouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah.
Quality food, like some decent food, it shouldn't be hard to do, bro.
Britain.
Get a big pot, a mix up of nice big pot of rice. A curry ain't hard to make. In Japan, they do it, and that's the thing. In Japan, they got a whole. They feed the kids
Science.
good food.
Even people in prison. Even the prisoners over there have a strict diet.
Oh yeah.
But here, the school food is abysmal. I remember back in the day, basically, it's pizza and forget, innit?
Yeah.
You couldn't get none of the curries or nothing like that because, boy, or the chili con carne.
Or baked tart.
Yeah,
You remember baked
cheese
all-
flan and forget, innit?
Or do you remember that cake with the strawberry and fucking coconut?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that one. What's that called again?
I don't know, but that was amazing. But the only thing
Well,
in the UK they got is pastries.
The best thing they had when I was in the school was baked with the jack potato. They had a proper jack potato machine. Everything else was bandulu, but I ain't gonna lie. Turkey twisters. Remember that nasty shit? I think they banned that shit. I don't know what the fuck was in it. That shit was pure fucking mystery meat, I'm telling you. But anyway.
Back in Deuteronomy 4:5, it says, "Behold, I've taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me. But you should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations."
Right. The worst thing about Esau is he's running around establishing his wickedness and thinking he's being progressive and he's got all these scholars and philosophers. Bro, it's not that deep, bro. The knowledge of life was already written and it's open. He's trying to reinvent the wheel, like he's coming up with something new or something better. You can't do nothing better than what the Lord came up with. And again, you know what that goes back to? Arrogance. To think that you can come up with a better foundation for a society than the Most High himself I think that should be the definition of arrogance. Because who's going to come up with a better foundational way to live than the one who created life, who's the Most High? You've been alive like 10 seconds and already you got a better way. I think it should be done this way. It's disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's like you working a job for 60 years or some little green bread come in and they're trying to tell you like they ain't even done the job. Like, bro, who are you? How much more say the Most High? But that's what Esau's done. Oh no, yeah, I think I can make a better society. So these are my laws, and I think and then it'll make the Lord's laws look barbaric and like it's crazy. And then people actually think that. They think that Esau's way is the way forward.
And bro, that's something that's always there. In every empire, the later generations think they're wiser than the previous, and like it's like they know more than their great grandparents and their ancestors. You know what I mean? It's like it's that. You know what I mean? If you look at a cycle, you know what I mean, of an empire, that trend always happens, bro. Where the last stage stop being like, you know,
Traditional. Start moving.
and they start to like,
ways,
start to like abandon their culture. Like we say, the last king of the, you know what I mean, Assyrian Empire, that guy was a freak, bro. Annapolis. You go and look at him. They say his beauty was so tender. He was more than a woman. Like he's softer than a woman, bro. That's what they said. And he was the last ruler of Assyria. He was super gay. You know what I mean? He's a super freak, man. Yeah, man. Like the same trend, man.
It ain't nothing.
Decadence.
They think the way of life is going to be something that goes, oh. No, it's actually in most houses. Just sitting there. Just that man can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Because it's been demonized.
Yeah.
You will never hear anyone like in a discussion say, well, what does the Bible have to say about it?
Yeah.
No, we need to bring in Jay-Z. What's Jay-Z think? You know what I
A lot of
mean?
people
What's
don't-
Ja Rule think about this?
A lot, innit?
Andrew Tate. Hey, bring in Andrew Tate. Let's hear what he got to say.
Yeah.
Remember there was that thing on social media? Or would you accept 100 grand or a dinner with Jay-Z?
Give me a fucking 100 grand.
Even
Put it
Jay-
into a high interest
Yeah.
account.
Perspicacity. Oh, and then he got punched up like that big homo. The aura's gone. Man actually thought he was the enlightener of men. No, he weren't coming
Oh,
with
he's,
the
he's
scriptures.
definitely like certain stuff.
Yeah.
Doing certain.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, yeah, the scriptures is the most valuable thing that mankind possesses, but at the same time, the least respected. It's not respected. The man have just been running around looking for what's the truth. Bro, it's there. Man. What are we doing here? Is it over there? No, it's you got it there in your bookshelf. No, is it there? Is it there? Man are looking into the stars. Oh, how should we live? Let's have a debate. What should the laws be? And they're debating between Democrat and capitalism and when the Bible has an economic system built into it. That works. No, we need to choose between capitalism and communism. Why? Why are we choosing between capitalism and communism? Why don't we just do the biblical system of land ownership? No. We need to. No, it's only between capitalism and communism. That's the only two systems that we can think. That's foolishness. You know, Trump ain't saying, "Oh, yeah, let's bring in the biblical system. Let's go back to land ownership, tithes." You know, the laws on usury, the laws on year of release, year of jubilee, and all that. They don't want that. The laws on marriage.
Or even how they punish people. There's certain things, there's certain crimes, like people are in jail for like 10, 20, 30 years. Whereas like there's certain crimes, when you read it, it will be like, okay, you got to give back the person the same. Or if you can't pay them back, you got to go and work for that individual.
Yeah, let them go work it off with the guy that they need to work it off. And then on top of that, yeah, bring back lashes, bro. Hey, I already told you that. You see these men with the Asbos. Asbos was bullshit. Man would get the Asbos and laugh about it and then brag about it. But if you gave them 20 lashes in the town center, man, them man will be humbled, bro. So nobody wants to cry in front of all their friends.
Yeah. Grab by his boxes and fucking.
Even man at Asbos. No, make a public example of that little motherfucker, man. This bitch running around getting loud at the security guard and chatting shit. Strap her and let her hold 10 lashes, man.
I've seen it.
And she'll be humbling. She'll be humble after that. Public lashings, yeah, is a humbling thing, bro. It's a must in any society. Once people publicly get lashed, yeah, it takes away the prestige from being the outlaw. The man just see you balling. You ain't no bad man then, are you? You can't be too cool for school. Obviously, when man go juvie, them man are still cool. They come back on road, yeah, man, I thought I was inside. You get me? I got my thing. Now, if man saw man, they're going, begging for, then it'll be different, bro. Man, be like, this guy ain't no bad man. He's a little youth, man. Next thing you know, man's there, but I know the man say, no, shut up.
Seen a thief get caught, bro. Yeah. Long day, bro.
It's not cool.
Long life.
But these men here, they get Asbos. That doesn't change them. They don't
That's
feel
another
shame
area.
either. They don't feel shame to tell a man they're getting an Asbo. It's like a badge of honor. Listen, let me tell you something. When you get a public lashing, there ain't no badge of honor, bro. It's just embarrassing. Remember what it's like when you get beat in front of your friends? I don't know if you brothers ever got beat in front of your friends.
Humbling,
Yeah?
bro.
But it's very embarrassing, bro. He's like, but the Bible tells you about some things you just need to give a man a public lashing
Before also others may think.
and it will fix the whole thing, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? Now, amongst all the youth, that guy don't look cool no more, and he humbled himself and won't do it again. Simple. You know? Not everything's got to be 20 years in jail. Just hold it.
Sometimes just
10 lashes, don't forget.
yeah.
10 lashes to let man work it off, man. You know what I mean?
He's went in for a petty crime and you're around hardened criminals.
Yeah, well, these juvenile centers make man more criminals. These men just go juvie, getting more beef, get more PTSD, and then come out and they just go back to a life of crime.
Bro, you know, I've realized that a lot of these kids don't even know the experience of wealth in their body. Like, remember when we used to get the cane, and then like the bumps would be physically on the skin. Like, bro, a lot of people don't even know that. Don't even know what that looks like. So it's just, like I know for sure this brother knows, bro. You know what I mean? Back home, bro.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
serious.
bro. I remember those times I was in school in Ghana, bro. You know, people try to be slick and put books in their shorts and stuff. And then and then like make a noise like, poof, poof. And then the teacher tells you to take it off, and you make sure that your damn shorts are basically skin tight. Oh shit, I remember that.
But even in the law, it's merciful because
Rule
there's a limit on the amount of lashes you can give someone, because obviously after that point it's just PTSD and it'll die. Yeah, but it's too traumatic.
Too
then.
traumatic.
You might bug out, like, you know. This is what happened to Jake. They will whip Jake within an inch of it. When you
him
whip
again.
someone within an inch of his life, yeah, that's an extremely fucking
Humbling.
traumatic. It's PTSD.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be like a normal functioning human being again. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when they used to do operations on man with no anesthetic.
Yeah,
bro.
it's terrible.
That shit give you PTSD for the rest of your life, bro. You ain't the same. You man come near you like all bugged out. You're not supposed to beat a man like that. But that's why the law has a maximum on the amount of lashes you could give someone in one go. Otherwise, it's no longer a punishment. Now you're just damaging.
And from a scientific level, let's say you're getting a whip on your back, the shock into your spine, like it's an extended reaction, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why like, have you ever seen a video of someone get whipped and they won't do nothing for the first like 1 second, then the shock comes, they're all paralyzed and shit.
There we go. And Esau's whip was designed to rip your flesh apart. You're not supposed to be ripping man's flesh apart like that. What we would use was like a leather strap. So it hurt, but it's not tearing you to fucking pieces, bro. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous, bro. Like, because when you start doing that kind of, what you're doing is you're damaging that person mentally. They're gonna break. It's just, now that person will never be the same. Not in the way of they're now corrected, but they could end up just being one of them PTSD youths, bro. They start doing mad. So yeah, it says here that man used to use a leather strap. And the maximum was 39 lashes.
Yeah, 39.
You know?
Still, no, it's a lot of lashes.
You know,
Well,
so
if you go to that 40 plus,
some of them man they got it and they corrected. You learned your lesson, bro. Now, them man are giving these youths fucking asbos and shit, and these youths don't give a fuck. They're just in and out. Oh, give man an asbo. And community service. Them man don't care about that. They don't even turn up.
tagging shit.
On tag. Man don't care about that. Beat them man in the town square. Make public lashings great again. Men and women.
Oh, bro, there was a tip that I saw, bro, sent it to me. It was out in China, right? Some chick, she basically tried to kick the parking attendant. She was pissed off, right? Pow! You basically see her reset. I go, bro,
Lashes for that. Story. Lashes for that. Yeah.
went to a phone attendant like she was doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, because none of these young girls are bold, bro.
Yeah.
They be going up to big flipping Evo security guards and just trying to violate, man. I've seen it. Big man that I'm like humble around. You know what I'm saying? Big, you be after a fucking warriors, blood, with biceps like this. I'm working with security guards, man. That you don't. Every man that comes in the store talks about with respect. You know what I mean? Because you know this man might take a life, blood, with one bicep, yeah. And you some fucking nasty, BO'd out fucking teenage girl all up in his face being rude. Nah. Okay, you know what you should get? Yeah, let her hold 5 lashes in the public. All of a sudden, when she feel them lashes, she's please and thank you and respect. Never again. And all the other ones would learn. Okay, when you deal with grown people, adults, have some respect. On the bus, I've seen these youths trying to fight pregnant women and all that. Yeah, bro. These teenagers
Remember recently?
are out of control, bro.
Those them 2 young black girls. Yeah, for granny.
Bro, some of these young girls ain't got no fucking respect. They need the public. That's why they need to make public lashes great again. When you do stuff like that in public, that's what your judgment should be. The police should turn up, take you to Barking Town Centre, have a place where they just tie your arm, and then you just administer whatever lashes you need to get. And the bare barling you're going to be under. Because it's sting them.
Says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding, and your understanding in the sight of the nations. We shall hear.
Yeah, we don't care about Plato and we don't care about all that. Mandatory about union. I need to read the philosophers. Bro, listen, I don't care about no philosophers. Man. They might have said something that was cool. Well done. What we're trying to say is let's go back to basics. And this is the real fundamentals that we need to nail down here. Then we can start talking about Plato.
Which a lot of them early sages were Jake anyway, and they got their inspiration from the
And not
scriptures.
to say there's not no wisdom in anything that they said, but I'm just saying
But it's rooted in the scriptures anyway.
them man,
Long
yeah,
term,
them man are basically uplifting that.
Like that.
Like
one,
that's
yeah.
the highest level of philosophy
Yeah.
and understanding and knowledge. When really you should go back
It's
to the law.
history. It all comes from the scripture. Like, you know, if you read through like Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiastes,
Yeah, that's the wisdom.
Proverbs, Psalms, you know, that's basically being a stoicism. That's stoicism in a nutshell. Be temperate, you know, it's better to go into the house on mourning than feasting. You know, these are all, you know, it's just spruced up. It's how the sages did it. Which that was inspired from the scripture.
Yeah.
Says, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who have the Most High so nigh unto them as the Lord our God?
And he always got his tech. That's what he boasting. Or some phallic symbol, you know, the missile or the rocket. Esau can't boast that the Most High is near to him. Show me then. Show me. Show me when the Most High has been near to Esau. No. The Most High, he got this. God ain't with him. You looking, where God then? Because I don't see him. He ain't with you. He never been with you. I know what's with you. Technology, the carnal.
It's 357 Magnum.
You know, America, we got the greatest. Yeah, that's all you got though. Don't worry about the Most High, because you ain't got that. You can't show us. The Most High will never reveal himself for your sake.
Alright, because I'm with you.
The only thing man's got is a giant phallic symbol that you shoot up into the sky. My gun's bigger than your gun type thing. Yeah, that's all you got. Us people, we weren't boasting in gun. We said, yo, the Most High is rolling with us. The Lord's rolling with us. I sunk your battleship, man. You know what I mean? That's the trump card right there, the real trump card. Esau going to China, military. Good.
And it says, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for. And what nation is there so great that have statutes, judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day?
Righteous, man. Now Esau will pass a law to protect a flamer and say that's righteous, and then flip it on you, where you can't even bully the youth. If you bully, man, they'll say it's hate and put you under the. And my man's called to be blowing off rods, man. Bare minimum, let's say you said, listen, man, we don't really want to put them to death. Bare minimum, they should be getting public lashes and a jail sentence. They don't even get that. That man get a record deal. They might get a brand deal. It's a madness. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, they took now the porn stars used to be in the back streets. Now they're on the front line of the podcast. They're celebrities now. It's all messed up. It's all messed up, man. The people that used to be ashamed of themselves and hide behind a street somewhere, now they're on Front Street. And you got to be down with that. You got to be cool with that. Otherwise, there's something wrong with you. You're the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? These man, even the PDFs don't even get no proper sentences.
It's just a joke now.
Joke.
It's just
They don't get no sentences. Man get a little 2-year thing for being a PD. Yeah, we get
Well,
a little community service.
because it's like, what do you call it? Like, well, I went Facebook, you know, the roast of Kevin Hart, and like the host basically called it. I think he called a few of them said you're using the Epstein files. I'm not really. I'm like, bro, if I'm an entertainer, someone says that as a joke, that's not a joke. But everyone in the crowd just laughed off. It's a meme now.
It's a meme. But we said that was going to happen. They were going to keep talking about it until they've normalized it, which is what the psyop was all about. Now they've made it where you just acknowledge that this is what it is. They said from the very beginning, when the man came out and said to you, there's nothing in there that we can investigate, and then showed you there are things to investigate, that was a psyop. It was basically telling you, listen, how many fingers am I holding up? Whatever I say it is. I'm trying.
Man was so sick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whatever we say it is what it is, isn't it? Just charge it.
Which if I could say the world is definitely going in that way, man. When you're looking just how much harder it is to find information now, there'll be things that you knew of a fact, but then you try to pull it back up, you can't find it on you. It's wiped, and then now AI overviews and AI modes is making that even worse because you will tell someone something, but the AI overview said this, that, and the other said no, but did you actually? Because when you're bringing out some deep information to people, but then it's like because what was it? A lot of it is just using like Snopes. Well, actually, it doesn't go and really say that. You know, I remember you used to always say, you know, you back up chat. Have you noticed chat is getting starting to clap back now?
But even now, I think ChatGPT, yeah, they're starting to reduce unpaid access to these things.
Because it's too expensive. It's too expensive to run.
So now so basically, like, you ain't gonna have access
to it. Yeah.
to the higher level of being.
And it's what do you call it? It's the Uber model. You remember when Uber came out, and Uber was like mad cheap, right? So that's what happens is you get the venture capital VCs. They'll come in and they'll be like, well, we know you're gonna make a loss like 10 years, right? Here's a checkbook. Whatever you need, you know, whatever have you. But then there comes a point when everyone was hooked. So this point was when all of the mini cabs went out of business, right? So now you've got no more mini cabs. You've got no choice but to use Uber. But then now the investments, hostile takeover, yeah. The VCs are then like, cool. You now have to start charging this amount. Okay, these are your price targets, right? So that's what you're basically seeing in the AI industry, which it'll be really interesting how it plays out because you get a lot of companies that have basically gone all in terms of like software development and AI. But now AI software development is costing more than a human in certain instances.
You're up.
Say.
Back in the game. Yeah. Just put me in the game.
The book of Isaiah 65 and 17. Oh, behold, I create new heaven and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind, but be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and the joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of cry.
Right. So with that, they call double honest to the apostle and the elder of the great millstone. Honest to those on the highways and byways.